Yeah, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast, presented by DJ City. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We have DJ D Miles here.
What's good, what's good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
DJ Neva is getting his ass fixed right now.
Y'all changing it every week.
But we got a special guest, one of Philly's finest, one half of Hollertronix. I've been in circles with with you. Yeah.
We've hung.
But we've never been we've never really
right.
We kicked it, but we got low budget, low B in the building right now.
Yeah.
What's good, man?
Pleasure to be here, man. I'm a fan of the show.
Welcome. Good looking, man. I appreciate that.
You drove all the way from LA for us, man.
Pretty much,
love.
man. Yeah.
Shout outs to you, bro.
I like driving though, man. I've drove
That's what I
all
said.
over the place, man.
Very, very. You like release a lot of stretch.
Yeah. Put on something, music or soming.
Well, wait. So how often do you come to the West
Man,
Coast?
I haven't been here in years.
Really?
Yeah. Like lately, I've been super local. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of there was a point where I kind of thought DJing might be done. You know.
Yeah.
And but the game needs me, I guess.
They need me. I gotta
He
come.
keeps calling you.
Nah, it's like they're people. I feel like dudes our age, we're kind of everyone I know that lives off DJing mostly is kind of older. It seems like
Right.
And
Why is that, you think?
because of the stuff you guys talk about a lot, the experience, being able to cater to that late 20s, early 30s crowd that might be spending a little more money. You know what I mean? And
just the music catalog, being able to read a room,
right,
a little bit more, yeah.
A lot, very seasoned.
Yeah. And I mean, there's plenty of young dudes that can do it, but I feel like they're usually busy. That's the time when you can throw your own parties. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like when I was in my 20s, that's what we were doing.
That's because when you're doing your parties, there's really no money in it in the beginning, right? And it's kind of like you're doing it for the love.
It's for the love and
exposure.
you get to be the man.
Yeah.
You get to be the man in your scene.
Right.
And
True.
the girls come out to your party. Once you get over a certain age, it's not just you're just not, your friends just don't go out anymore after a certain age. So it's you kind of have to switch roles and just be I'm just going to be the best DJ.
Yeah,
that's true. Just hold it down.
I had to in the beginning in New York, I had to promote my own parties in order to DJ, right?
Right.
And then you just get all your homies there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you build up a name, and then nightclubs want to hire you and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. It's
I was
basically how it
always
works.
working too, doing my own parties, but I would still do downtown Philly spots where I had to play the joints.
Can you break down the Philly scene? Because I remember so I'm obviously cool with DJ 11 and I'm cool with Ayers and Cosmo. I haven't spoken to Cosmo in so long though. Cosmo Baker, shout to him. Shout to Ayers and 11. They would do these trips. They would do these road trips from New York. And
you went with them on once.
Yeah,
that's the last time I remember hanging with you.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
that was when we would do these road trips to Philly, and I would just go with them, and I'd be like, "Fuck it, I'll go to Philly."
Right.
And then we would go to Philly, and they would DJ. I forgot these spots.
One was Denim, which is now
yes.
called Coda, which had 3 other names between them
Right.
times. But Denim. I think Cosmo was still doing a residency there or something at the time, even though he had moved to New York. But I remember you.
And it was Catch Dubs, right? Is it Nick
I don't know
Catch
if
Dubs?
Nick was there. Nick was always around.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was there that night though.
Okay. But I remember just going on a road trip, and for the life of me, I don't remember a lot of the music.
Yeah.
Maybe I was too.
I think that time it was all Neptunes.
It was
It's like it was very similar to New York. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In retrospect, and then we would go there, we would have a good time, get a couple cheesesteaks, and then we would drive back pretty much to New York.
Yeah, and I would do the same thing. I'd go to New York, drive back at 4 a.m.
But you guys close at 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, actually, where I DJ at now, it's after hours.
Yeah.
And so after hours in Philly is 3:15.
Really?
3:15. Wow.
Yeah. They still serve alcohol?
Till 3 you're allowed to do it. You can stay open late, but after the bar closes, there's not really much point in being open. But sometimes they do just to keep it fun. But I think after hours pretty much means you're going to close between 3 and 3:30, which for me is the perfect slot. Because you're not getting that extra hour where it's just people hanging out trying to I remember doing New York. I'd be yo, that's the last hour. It's crazy.
3 to 4.
Yeah, it's just stragglers looking to kind of find a nice drunk girl. But I don't know. Maybe I DJ'd just that. I remember doing Sway. Do you remember Sway?
I remember Sway.
Yeah.
I remember actually hearing you and Diplo at Marquee upstairs.
Yeah. I remember that place a lot too, because that's where I got one of my DJ injuries that still lasts me to this day.
What?
I dislocated my shoulder getting out of the booth.
What?
Oh,
The upstairs thing, you had to
you had to
crawl under a bar.
Yeah, okay.
And I went and I stumbled, and to break my fall, I put my arm out and I popped out of my shoulder. And to this day, if I'm ever trying to do weights or something like that, it's
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
At that time, I got winded. I had to sit down and everything. I'll always remember that place because of that, and a few other things.
Yeah, I was doing some wild shit. I mean, it was a lot of Dirty South.
Yeah,
and it was like Salt Shaker into Sheila E.
I had
Love Bazaar. Yeah.
I always did Salt Shaker into what was it? It was a rock track, probably not Back in Black. Was it Back in Black? I Love Rock and Roll or something
Probably,
how that shit was back then. Yeah. But
you guys did you guys spin in New York much? Because you did.
Yeah.
I didn't catch you guys out there too much because that was the only time I really.
You're probably working.
Probably I was working.
That's why we never get to see each
I
other. Yeah, there's so many friends I've known them for years. I've been I seen you DJ twice.
But can you break down Philly for me and the sound and why you guys breed all of these amazing DJs? You know what I mean? Jazz Jeff.
What's in the water over there?
Cosmo Baker, Mighty Mike.
I think there is just a serious tradition that comes more from a block party type vibe, where it was block parties are really popular in Philly. They just block off a street. You can do it legally, or you can just tie some tape to a chair and then no one goes down the street that day. But that's kind of the big outdoor celebration. And not that I was around for that, but I think in the 80s that formulated the sound a lot. I definitely would say the West Philly guys like Cash Money, Jazzy Jeff, come from that party rock tradition, and then it just kind of gets passed down. I worked at the record store at Armand's, which was kind of I guess the Rock and Soul or Beach Street of Philly, right? They're the big record stores, and it just kind of gets passed down, and everyone has their dudes that they look up to, and you kind of got to represent, and then you all have these weird records that you still have to play, and there's we did it
what?
All right, here's a weird one. Kwame, Only You.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that a big
the polka dot era?
Yeah. That's I think that song's bigger in Philly than it is anywhere else.
Really?
Wait to this day?
Yeah.
Maybe
maybe now is getting a little old head if you play it now, but
I remember that record growing up. That was a big skating
Okay, so
record.
for a while I didn't know why it was so big. I finally found out.
Are you gonna say it
my
was
first
on the
pause
Fresh
within
Prince?
5 minutes, huh?
It was on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah,
At one point.
Was it?
Yeah.
in a club scene. He
Yeah,
was in a
okay.
club
Oh,
and he was
yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
Oh, and Kwame Only You was one of the
Yeah,
records?
yeah.
Okay, so, but maybe this is the connection of why it was there. Kwame's DJ was Tat Money, who was a big Philly DJ of that era.
yeah.
I just found that out myself because I'm like, yo, why is that song so popular?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you didn't know? Tat Money, when that shit came out, because I was only 12 or 13 when that came, but apparently that was the big thing, yo, Tat Money's DJing for Kwame. Wow. So I don't know. That's what I heard from people.
So it's the Montel Jordan of this is how we do it of Philly.
It would definitely go in that set.
Really?
Yeah. It's you would do maybe a Kwame Only You, and then a Chub Rock, and then a Tough Crew, Cool C, Glamorous Life.
Wow.
Damn.
These are all the Philly records that kind of become part of that set. You know? And just working at the record store made you really realize how every DJ has.
Surprisingly,
this set,
that record was big in LA too for some reason.
Only You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good
I think it was a popular song, but it's just abnormally popular in Philadelphia. And I don't know if that's now. I'm sure if you went to a party in a club and you played it, they'd be like, why are you playing this old shit? But through the 90s and even into the 2000s, that was definitely a party classic.
Well, Philly kind of started gangster rap a little bit, right?
Oh, with the Schoolie D thing, right? Yes. And that's interesting too. I never really got that, why people said that.
Yeah.
But I think it's more about the flow too. Because he did that, PSK, we're making that cream. People always say,
What
and that
the
was
fuck does that mean?
And that was Ice-T's like 6 a.m, police at my door, like that flow where like the boys in the hood are always hard,
right?
Like, and so like the West Coast kind of borrowed that flow,
that cadence a little.
Yeah, and I think that's where I see the influence more on that.
Yeah. It's weird, but someone was telling me there's a connection, an old connection between Philly and LA for some reason. There was like something tying them together.
I'm not sure.
Will Smith?
I don't know what it was
before that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I really don't know.
And then, so when you were coming up in Philly, and then who was your goats coming up? Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, that's like the Givens, right? Like
yeah.
Cash Money, Jazzy Jeff were the dudes that were like representing and kind of like gave you that first feeling of like turntablism,
right,
and like incorporating it into a set. But then I guess like for me, honestly, like Cosmo and Rich Medina, they did a party called The Remedy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a good name.
Yeah, and
that was like really well known. I mean, I heard about that.
And
in New York.
I would made a fake ID to get in because it was really easy to do back then. Because I'm so old, the holograms weren't on the things yet. But yeah, so I would go into there, and that's when I kind of like really first started to see like that open format kind of flavor, where they would play like indie hip hop at first, then like go to the classic hip hop, play the sample, you know, but then by the end of the night you didn't know where they were going to go, and they were playing like classics, like, you know, like Roy Ayers, Running Away, shit like that, like all them joints. And so I was like, all right, that's what I want to do, because I came from the hip hop, like the underground hip hop scene, more like
all of us did pretty much.
We all did, right? So in that world, I kind of was like,
and then we got put into a room of girls.
Then we were like, oh yes, yeah.
we got to play for girls now.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But so I would go to that party, and that kind of opened my mind to playing different shit. But then my boy Ralph, he's Major Taylor. He kind of provided this other side. He was in a punk band, and he knew like all these punk rock and indie kids. So he started throwing his party, and they were playing like all types of shit. You know, he would play like I saw him at this warehouse. It was like a bike messenger party.
Damn.
Yeah, and he was playing. He wasn't playing like anything too deep, but he was just playing. He would play like M2Me, Juicy, and the Cameo, and then play like Led Zeppelin. And I was like, yo, this dude's just playing my shit. You know? As opposed to coming from like the hip hop scene where you're kind of like trying to play for dudes, and you're kind of like you're like putting this like cap on yourself when you're thinking like you're kind of confined to this thing. So when I started seeing these guys playing, I was like, oh, this is what I should be doing, you know. So I befriended them, you know. I'm not like a hustler dude. I'm not a talker dude. All the connections I've made have been like genuine. Like I'm still friends with these guys to this day. Yeah. And he would throw parties, my boy Ralph, and he'd have like, I guess what you would call the hipster kids coming out. They weren't called that yet. They were just like indie kids. And he was playing hip hop, and then he would play all types of other shit. So I just started tagging along with him. He would be like, yo, you want to play with me? And this was all the vinyl days. And I would hop on with him, and then that's where I learned to like rock a crowd. Like technically DJing, I taught that myself. Like, I never really had anyone show me how to do that, but my learning came from watching him and Cosmo, namely, play. So like when I'm doing good, I feel like I'm like channeling them back in the day. You know what I mean? Like,
dope as fuck.
Yeah. Like I'm like, okay, like it's kind of like, what would they do still to this day? You
really?
know what I mean? Yeah. Well, now I've been doing it a lot longer now that it feels like second nature.
Yeah.
But when I'm really on, like I'm like feeling the same spirit of that time, you know? It don't happen quite as often as it used to. Yeah. Or just like, you know how it is when you see like a DJ just killing it, and they're just like effortlessly like boom, 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 boom. They're thinking 5 records ahead, and like, yeah. So that's what that scene reminds me of, that time. And there was a lot going on in Philly at that time. There was Cosmo and Rich's party, which was that was a scene, kind of like the hip hop. And then you had like the neo soul of the 90s, the Roots and all that stuff. And you had Ralph doing his thing. And then there was this dude, Dave P. He threw this party called Making Time. That's where they were playing like the hipster electro shit or like classic.
What year was this?
2001.
2001.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like? Because when did the Hollertronix party start?
Okay, so the first one was my 25th birthday party.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be 42 in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it was like coming up on the 17th anniversary. So that would be
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this all kind of just predated that, right? This is where we were getting our influences. And I met Diplo at this time, actually at like an underground hip hop joint in Brooklyn.
Right.
I used to DJ for these guys, Arrakis Records. They were like local underground back.
You say
back
Arrakis, huh?
Arrakis.
Oh, I thought you meant Ruckus.
No.
I thought you like
I just
Rackus.
mispronounced Ruckus really bad. That would be ill if I said it like that.
Yeah.
But no, Arrakis. It was it's the planet in Doom. You remember?
Okay.
You ever see Dune?
No, I was never a Dune
Yeah,
guy.
the owner was apparently,
Yeah.
and he named this shit Arrakis Records. And
I always thought people who were into Dune were a different type of. They were different.
Yeah.
They were like Star Trek dudes too. I was more Star
but you know
Wars,
what? He wasn't though. He was.
Nah.
He seemed like a normal like college dude, but I guess he was really into Dune. Paul, shout out Paul. PCP was his rapper name.
PCP.
Yeah, and I was low budget, and we was like PCP and low budget. We did this comedy show once. The comedians were lighting us up, man. They were like, "Yo, this is a real class act here. We got PCP and low budget." But yeah, so I did a thing with them. We did a thing in Brooklyn, and I was just chilling there, and like I guess Wes was there, and he was like, "Yo, you're from Philly," and we just started like talking.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't really want to talk to anyone. I was just like trying to be by myself." And then but Diplo has that way of just like finding common ground. You know what I mean? And so we kept bumping into each other in Philly, and it turned out that we actually did hang in the same scenes a lot. Like I would see him at the place Silk City that he now has a group named after. You
Wow.
know?
Oh shit.
Yeah, which is still open.
Is that a nightclub?
Yeah, it's like a lounge.
Oh,
it's like it's under a different owner now, but it's still kind of the same vibe. It's a little more mainstream now, but at the time it was the spot where you could just be like, "Yo, I want to do a party where I play nothing but 90s punk rock or something," and the owner would be like, "Okay, cool." As long as you could bring people out, you know.
Yeah.
And that's basically his group with Mark Ronson, kind of like this disco house thing. That
He named it after that, right? I mean, I guess like I don't know if it's like a homage or something to that
Right.
time. We weren't really playing much disco house at that time, but the name sounds good for it, right? So I would see him there. That's where my boy Ralph did a lot of parties, and we kept running into each other, and we would have conversations where we knew we had the common ground where we were into hip hop, and we would go to the Remedy, we would go here, we'd go to Making Time, to the hipster shit. And then, but then we'd be like, yo, we kind of like the Southern music too, which no one around us liked, you know? And that was kind of where we realized we were a little different from everyone else.
Yeah.
Because in 2002,
it was
on
so
the East Coast,
it was so
Yeah.
abrasive, right? It was it was just so like in your face.
Right.
It was like very aggressive, right, at the time.
you had your like Ludacris, you know, Big Pimpin'. There was the
Right.
crossover joints, but there wasn't no Pastor Troy. Even Little John at the time. I remember we went to
Lil
see
Jon
Little
East Side
John. No
Boys.
one showed
Yeah.
up. He was calling me. He was like, "Yo, you want to go see Lil Jon?" I got like free tickets. I was like, "Man, I don't know if I feel like going over there." He's like, "Yeah, no one's here." But 2 years later, Dave Chappelle's doing imitations of him.
Right,
Everyone
yeah.
knows who he is. But so we had that like thing in common, and then I worked at the record store with Dirty South Joe, who is he's part of the whole thing too. He was like the plug. We called him Dirty South Joe because he was the only dude that was into it more than us. Like he was obsessive about it. He was like, oh, and he was so psyched to meet us because like now he's got someone to talk to.
He knew like the album cuts and shit. He was listening to
he
all
knew
that.
about David Banner like way back when.
Damn.
And he put me on to Mike Jones way back when, like
Damn.
all that stuff that later, and he's still that dude to this day. Like he told me about Young Thug before Young Thug popped, told me about Migos before they popped. Like he's that like record store plug that's like, you need this shit.
Yeah.
And I do a show with him now, and that's kind of our angle. But he got involved, and so what was I saying?
You were saying you for your birthday the Hollertronix
Oh,
party.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started like realizing this was our thing, and being at the record store, we were there was Baltimore Club was really popular in Philly at the time. It's not so much now, and I don't know when it became like the hottest shit, but at that time it was the hottest shit. You couldn't spin a club, a black club at least in Philly, and it not have Baltimore Club. So that was.
And you guys are really close to Jersey too.
Yeah. Jersey Club, yeah, they were kind of like coming up at the same time. I feel like that's when, because we like DJ Tamil was doing his thing. He was like a MySpace friend. And then
MySpace friend.
Yeah, actually at that time MySpace wasn't even around, but I know like that's when I started like talking to him. And so we were like, let's just play a party where we play all this stuff. You know, we'll still play 50 Cent in the club and What Happened to That Boy. I remember that was a big song when we first started. Crazy in Love. That was like, we were down to play that, you know? And I remember a girl coming up to me, she's like, it's finally like a party where they're playing this stuff. Like, it's not all like old shit, you know?
Right.
And we would play all that. We played dance hall, you know, just like any East Coast club. And then we would go into, start creeping up. We would get into some like LCD sound system, like DFA records, like that electric, like the disco hipster stuff.
Yeah.
And then, we would go into Baltimore Club, and then we would double time it into the down south, and that was like the crescendo of the night. And yeah, that was kind of like our format, and that's kind of like what we wanted to push. We were just like, it wasn't really about mashup or open format. It was just like, this is our format, like the new format, like
the new open format,
the new, just like a format, you know, like it's just like it's not the R&B, hip hop, reggae, go up tempo house classics.
Yeah, you were just
that was our influence, but then we just added that like extra step. You know what I mean?
But it really defined like your guys' sound too, because with you, I don't think a lot. And the crazy thing is, I don't think a lot of. I know for a fact actually, a lot of people don't know about like Diplo being a part of this Hollertronix.
Well, 17 years ago.
17
now.
years
That's
ago.
like 17 years of new fans that haven't done the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you guys had this standout mixtape, right?
Yeah,
with Turntable Never Scared.
Yeah.
It was like in the New York Times, like
it was insane.
top 10 albums.
What the fuck is that?
How did that happen?
I have no clue.
No?
I have no idea.
Really?
It was so weird to me too, man. Yeah.
How that
face
just
is
happened?
funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking up.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when we were making that, we were just like, we had been doing the party for a few months. We were like, let's make a mix that kind of represents all the stuff we play, with minus the Beyonce Crazy in Love, 50 Cent in the club that you don't need. Like, you know, we're playing that. Let's do like, you know, like the mashup shit was getting popular. So we threw a little bit of that in there. We wanted to play Baltimore Club. We wanted to play Dirty South shit. And then we still put like, we were still in the 80s R&B and electro. So we still had like, I don't know, like AEIOU and stuff like that, like freestyle. We were like, cause like he was coming from Florida. So we were in the Miami bass and electro and all that. So that was part of it too. So we just made a mix and put it all together. And I remember making it. I was like, this is going to be either so weird that no one's going to like it, or people are gonna fuck with it. And yeah, but like Turntable Lab bigged it up so much, so, like they were a big part of it.
Yeah. And it was known for what you know about that Baltimore Club at it, right?
No, that's mine. That was yours, I made that years later. Yeah, well, you know about that wasn't out yet then. We put like it was mostly like the Baltimore Club. We didn't make anything. I think he made a remix of one of his songs, The Thingamajon.
Okay.
That was a song he made. And he did a Baltimore Club remix. We put that on there. But everything else was like Baltimore Club records, which like we had to drive down to Baltimore to get them, because the record store I worked at, like, I don't know if they had like a falling out with the Baltimore connection like down there.
Really?
But yeah, because like, you know, they charge a lot, I guess, or like they figured it wasn't worth bringing it up. So I like went down there on a trip, and I got I went to DJ Technique's store. He's like a OG, Baltimore OG legend. And so I just copped all the ones, and I copped like the one with the Fred Sanford that he sampled for the M.I.A. joint. And
that's so interesting, like with the Baltimore Club scene that was emerging at that time. Because what was the standout record that kind of crossed over for all of us?
I'm the Ish is the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
DJ Cass.
Yeah. But the first one was Doo-Doo Brown. Did you know that in New York? Two
Live Crew?
No, Frank Ski was actually Two Hype Brothers and a Dog, but Frank Ski was part of it. Yeah. That was a big song on the radio, like 91. No? Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, for us,
you might know it
Coast,
if you heard it, man. You might know it.
Yes.
Brown, brand new brother in town. Yeah,
I do remember that.
Dope sounds. Doodoo Brown. Yeah, that was a big. That's a Baltimore Club.
Richard Vision. He used to play that on his radio show in L.A. a lot. Yeah,
because it was a Baltimore Club record, but it was out around like when hip house was popular.
Yeah,
and like. Speaking of Fresh Prince, I remember like an episode where Jazzy Jeff is like, they're playing in the club and Will Smith comes in and he's like, yo, what's up? We're at the party. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, it's all right now, but once I throw on this house music, you're going to see him go wild. It was like, because you know how every hip hop artist had like a house track on their joint in like the 90s? Yeah. So Doodoo Brown came out around that time. Same thing with like, it might have been a little later than Girl, I'll House You, the Jungle Brothers, but that era, house was big. So that kind of crossed over, and then you didn't hear nothing about it for a while.
Yeah.
Then in Philly, it became popular in the, I guess, like the mid to late 90s. I think like a lot of that came from the Greek picnic we had in Philly. So there was a lot of kids from different colleges coming together and kind of sharing like Go-Go from D.C., Baltimore Club. And so Baltimore Club always had a big spot in Philly. It's kind of faded now. It's kind of like, you'll still hear the joints, but you'll hear like that same 3-song set. You know?
It's like, what were the standout joints that we would play here in Vegas?
Postman.
Postman was big.
Yeah. That was popular?
Yeah.
I
big
love
time.
That shit. Yeah.
That was
I would always mix that with the Jewels joint. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one. Mm-hmm. And then even like they would like,
Samir's theme, was that big?
Yeah, it was big. Huge.
Oh,
yeah.
That's kind of like the biggest one probably. Right?
Yeah.
That is like a legit like Baltimore record. Like you bought that on the
and
I still have that vinyl.
And it was just like all the loops too,
yeah,
like
the,
ass and titties and all
feel
that.
the beat, Michael Jackson, can you feel that beat?
Oh yeah, that was Samir too, I think. Yeah.
That one was big.
Yeah. He made some good joints, man. They were all good. Samir, KW Griff, Scotty B. He was like, if he's ever
Scotty B.
I actually have a remix of his creator.
Yeah, Scotty B did that one too. That was popular in the We Are Your Friends.
Yeah.
That We Are Your Friends one. He did that. Yeah, he got in on it.
Yeah.
Should we give props to Rockticon? He had that.
Yeah.
Need Your Love and all that, right?
Yeah.
That kind of like, that was a big one.
The outfield one. Yeah. It's funny when I heard him say that he made that as a joke because but he said that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I knew it. I knew that was
a joke.
Yeah. I was like, this is insane, man. This is not like the outfield. You know?
And speaking of Rockticon, we have to talk about the Hollerboard.
Yeah. That's a big.
It was.
That's like phase 2 of the story
of the Holla Tronics legacy, right?
Right. Well, but it all ties together to what we're talking about because the first parties we would go, there was like these graffiti writers in Philly. Like, you know, Philly's got big graph writer scene and all. So they would. It's like, God, in like the 80s, 90s, it was like the capital. Like as far as like square inches of tagged walls.
Really?
Yeah. Philly's a huge graffiti town. But so there was like writers that would have these message boards and people would go on there and there would be beefs, there would be fights, people would talk shit about parties they were at. And this was like a big thing before social media to that people would go to our parties and then go on there and be like, yo, I was at Hollertronix last night, such and such happened. And it was kind of like the word of mouth that that helped us.
I mean, you guys were like almost like the first. I mean, it was like forums, right? It's when forums started to really pop, and it was like pre-Twitter,
right?
And I would say it was like probably one of the first, probably like the first Twitter before Twitter came out, kind of a little bit.
It was definitely SoundCloud before SoundCloud came out, because we had the one section where people would just post all their new tracks, and that's what really made it the go-to spot. Only a certain percentage of people went on there to like be part of the community. Right. You know what I mean? That was like
well, it kind of started like how motherfuckers would be or become like internet famous a little bit and like a little bit known, right?
Oh, well, promoters would definitely go on there to book people. Like they'd say like who's posting tracks, who's getting talked about, you know, especially like a lot of European promoters, like Sweden in particular. Like we were like, yo, everyone gets to go to Sweden, man. Like, Sweden was always like, Sweden fucked with us heavy. But
yeah, I want to talk more about that, but I also want to talk a few things about Hollertronics. I didn't know y'all was a party. Because I just knew.
I thought it was a crew.
I thought it was a crew. I thought it was you and Diplo.
No, that was the name of our party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I really honestly knew about you guys through the Rub.
Right. Yeah,
So,
close homies.
Yeah. And then I knew about you guys, and then I kind of like I would hear your sound through like It's the Motherfucking Remix.
Yeah.
And I never caught you guys in Southpaw when you guys did the Rub in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. But I remember just really getting to know your sound, and they would play me some of your music, and it was just so. I remember at the time I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You can't play this in the club."
Right.
At the time, they would play it for me. I'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And then I would ask like Ayers and 11. I'm like, "Dude, where do you play this?"
Yeah.
Because if you played this in the club in
Right.
New York, it wouldn't clear the room, but it'd be like, "Where are we going?"
Right.
Because it was so new.
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
sound of it was so new.
So we needed for that to happen. You need
Yeah.
to like lay the foundation,
Right.
which was find a spot that goes after hours, find a spot that has cheap alcohol, and it's a little out of the way.
Yeah.
And make it the place to be.
Yo, because I was reading, not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but the spots you guys were doing, you knew it was kind of like out of the way, so people wouldn't
At the
really
time,
leave.
now it's like
Yeah.
hot, but yeah, it was. It's like at the Ukrainian Social Club.
Yeah.
Philly has a bunch of like social clubs, and I think I'm not 100% correct about this, but I think that is one of the things that lets you go after two.
Uh-huh.
If you're a social club and you need a membership to go into. So we found one. Actually, Wes found that that's like when we started talking. He was like, "Yo, I got this spot, and we should do this party. This is the place to go." And he was just always good at that. Like I was like, "How did you find this?" He's like, "I drove by it one day and I went in and I asked them to take a part." Like he's just like people can say whatever they want, but that dude like does not procrastinate, man. He just like
he gets it done.
He gets the idea
Yeah.
and he acts on it immediately, and that's like I think that's the major reason for his success. But he was like, "Yeah, let's do this," and we started going there. And like I said, if you give kids a way to like drink cheap and stay out late, after 2, like it's gonna work, And it was a little out of the way. I remember being like, "Yo, that's kind of like a rough neighborhood. I don't know if we can get kids." And this was like before Uber. You can do anything now with Uber, but there would just be like kids with bikes like chained up to the fence like all around, and it worked. But we kind of needed that little perfect storm. And then like once we were in there, we were like, "Yo, we did all types of shit." We brought the Nintendo. Hooked it up to the projector so people could play like Mike Tyson's Punch Out on the wall, and like we just put all types of flavor into it. That we started doing sound effects.
So being out the way kind of helped you out because when they were at the party, they couldn't go to another party. They were pretty much there for the night, right?
Yeah. It wasn't that far out of the way. It was just like in like that 2 blocks over, 3 blocks over from like the gentrified area,
So when you guys did the mixtape, you got all this press.
Mm-hmm.
You got, I'm sure like everyone wanted to book you, right? After that?
Yeah, but and even like to what you were saying, when we would get booked, we were like, do people really, like, what exactly do they want us to do? Do they want us to, do the mashup shit? Do they want to hear Baltimore Club?
Right.
It ended up being Baltimore Club was the thing that really kind of like gave us the identity, especially when we started doing our own shit too. Like it was like we were getting booked. Kind of, that's what people wanted to see.
Baltimore Club to me was like, I remember like, it was a good like seasoning. It was like a good sprinkle.
That's
you know what I mean?
thing, right? And we would always, we're like, "Yo, you don't play this for an hour,
right?"
But like you couldn't get because we're coming from the DJ background where there's a format, and like you still got to read the crowd no matter what it is, and we still had to do that, and it was really tough when we would. Before Serato, when we would have to pack records to get on a plane, and you could only bring like so many, and we're like, "Yo, what are they gonna want?" So we would always have like our dancehall foundation, our hip hop foundation, in case they turned on us. But we'd be ready to go.
Because you were like 3 to 4 years ahead, a little bit, right?
Yeah,
because of Baltimore like club.
3 or 4 years ahead. What do you mean?
Like before it kind of popped.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
like,
to the masses.
Yeah. The pop was like 2007, 2008.
Yeah, because that's when
Yeah.
LA got it.
Yeah.
They used to have,
Right.
like,
So this was a few years before
because
that.
I remember trading music. But I remember when Serato first came out, it was like the big thing is you wanted to hang with like your homies. Like if your homie came in from out of town, you would sit and trade music for like hours.
Yeah.
Do you have this? Do you have this? And I remember there would be certain DJs, they would be like, do you want this? And they would just be like trying to like overload the Baltimore Club. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yo,
like,
I just need the 5, man. I
yeah,
don't need
I'm just
I'm
like,
still like, that's like to this day, every genre that pops off, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'll just take the like cream of the crop. And we'll see where we're at 10 years from now. Like how much shit we're playing. You know what I mean?
But there were definitely DJs trying to just overload, and they're like, oh, I got this. I put this song with this. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like that. And
then 140 bit rate and shit, all bad.
Yeah, but there were some horrible.
Yeah,
like,
there were some bad ones.
There was some. I mean, at that era, everyone was doing it.
Everyone was doing it. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know, what's the equivalent of that now?
Everything is
remix.
Everything of his twerk remix, a Moombahton remix, whatever comes around. People just, it's like, yo, I don't need a Moombahton Belle Biv DeVoe Poison remix. Like that shit works as is. You know what I mean? I don't need that shit.
Yeah, but that era kind of had great fucking like, I don't know, it kind of shifted music for like a lot of landscape. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you had
LA,
like,
it was crazy because we had nights of just that.
Just Baltimore Club,
yeah, and then you had like the kids with like the Kanye West shuttle glasses and like bright colors and checker pants and shit like that.
God, so, the Kanye West sunglasses like, were
horrible. Yeah. But they had like at Arena, at Florentine Gardens, like they all had this shit. I remember they brought out Kid Cudi in 2008, and nobody knew who the fuck he was, but a month later, fucking
that was the peak of it all, right? That was like when the bubble was like at the highest.
Yeah,
I think 2010 it started maybe kind of dwindle a little.
Because when did Ish come out? That was
2008. Yeah, 2008, 2009.
Don't ask me about years. I'm horrible.
I'm good. I'm pretty good with years.
But I feel like that was like the pinnacle when that record dropped.
But then you had
huge.
Like Shots.
Yeah,
that's a Baltimore Club beat. You know.
Yeah, it is.
And then even like some Black Eyed Peas joints like that.
Boom Boom Pow.
A little bit, but that Check It Out with Nicki Minaj. You remember? Yeah. That's got like when I heard that, I was like, yo, this got an 80s sample. It got a Baltimore Club break to it, and then it got a halftime drop. I was like, this is like all the elements right here.
I mean, you'd even call, I would say one of even the biggest remixes, the Day and Night Crookers remix.
That was
That's Baltimore Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it has the drums, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if they were playing that in the hood in Baltimore.
But that was like,
not that they were playing much of my shit, except maybe what you know about that. But that's the weird thing. Like, I think like even in Baltimore, it had kind of like, no, you know what? Black Star and them they kind of made the new sound of Baltimore, which influenced the Philly and Jersey sound.
Black Star.
Yeah. Not Talib and Most.
Talib and Most.
BLAQSTAR. He did the man, I'm trying to think of what his biggest joint was. You keep on fucking around. I'm gonna get my gun. That shit. He had a few joints. He toured with us with M.I.A. when I was because that was another. I started being M.I.A.'s tour DJ around that time too, and he was like open.
I've heard a lot of rumors about you and M.I.A. Not like
that. Chill.
Really? Let me know.
Yeah. I heard like you were doing a lot of the production for that, like ghost producing.
Yeah. That's 100% false.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I would love that.
There was so many. there was a lot of rumors saying that you were like the ghost producer.
I should have let them thing ride, man. Yeah. I wish you could.
That was the rumors like that. You were ghost producing.
Yeah, nah, that's not true at all.
And then
the only thing close to that was like me and Ellie Escobar were working on a mixtape for her that never happened because I was a mess at the time. Like, yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Like that whole period coincided with me just like being addicted to pills.
Oh, wow.
To just drop some shit out of nowhere. Like, yeah, like I was like messed up. Like,
well, that was,
but it like my career was going great. It was like the polar opposite. Yeah,
that was
so. That's kind of like that's kind of why I like fell off. You know. Because I had to take care of that shit.
Was it like an overindulgence of just like success and like fame and everything, and then
it wasn't nearly that rock star. It was just like pathetic.
Come on. Wait, I want to know about this. What pills? Do you mind if we talk about?
You know, like perks, man. You know, all the shit the rappers talk about. You know?
Wow,
he was really about it.
Yeah, man. That's why like it kind of bothers me when I hear people talk about that like casually, like that's some party shit, like perks and Xannies. Like that's some like crash your car into the stop sign shit. You know, that's not like I have fun at a party drug. You don't pop Xannies.
Did you have like an injury And then it trickled into you just using them
yes.
heavy?
And it you know, it's funny. The night that I had to go to the hospital was the night that Spider mentioned it. He didn't know he was mentioning it when he was on the show. Him and Mark Ronson played my party in Philly. And I remember it was that when they did that Rockstar thing. And when Spider was on the show, he mentioned that. He was like, oh, it was the craziest night. I wasn't there. I was in the hospital. I had pancreatitis.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so like I got, they gave me painkillers for it. And it was a wrap after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was big in LA. Like people would really, like kids were like falling over on fucking pills at that, you know, the hipster Baltimore shit parties. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
Where did the pills come? I mean, where did Xannies and Perks just start popping off like around that era? Like,
I feel like in the South it was always a thing, but Philly too. It's really big in Philly, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did it come from though? I don't get it. The culture of it.
Like, probably rich kids going into the kids. To
Not in Philly, man. In Philly, it was like, well, it's like there's like Scissorp, you know,
right?
And then in Philly, they had like pancakes and Scissorp, which was like 2 Xanax dropped in the syrup, and they would sell it like.
God damn, that sounds like a fucking. That sounds.
And this is the '90s, man. This is the '90s. I even read an article where they said like the Houston connection to Scissorp was connected to Philly's like. There was a corner. I'm not going to start saying corner names, but there was like spots in Philly that were known where you were like. You know, that's
well, I know in LA during that time, maybe like the mid 2000s, pills got big because dudes were getting like life sentences for coke and other stuff. So like the pill game just started emerging because there was no laws in place to get put away for it.
Oh yeah.
So dudes would like get fake scripts from doctors and just sell them on the streets like $40 a pill. And
so everyone's cracking down on that now. Yeah, that's
This syrup. I remember some kid had syrup in a party in 2008. He's like, try this, and it was like. Super sweet. I'm like, what is it? He's like, that's the shit the rappers be drinking.
And that's the thing, right? When it's like it's all funny when it's like like smoking weed, Dr. Dre, Chronic. That's like when I was 15. Yeah. But when it's like shit that you become physically dependent on, and you can't like make a gig, or you can, but you just in your head, you're like, I can't do it.
When did you start doing it?
That was like around 2006.
2006.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like you could see like it was like right around, and I'm like traveling, and I don't know. I don't get too into detail with it, but it's definitely like a part of the. People don't need to hear the war stories. You know what I mean?
At what point?
Let me just say this: like, if anyone has that problem, you know, feel free to reach out for me, and I will like tell you what I did, and you know, that's about it. But yeah, we don't need to get it. But all the shit that comes with that came with it with me too. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's crazy.
So I mean, so you was going on tour in M.I.A.
Yeah.
So how did you guys? How did that happen?
Well, because Diplo worked with her, right, and they used to date. And then like they weren't getting along or something like that. So I was like the next best.
He was low budget.
He was busy doing his own thing, you know what I mean? And so he was like, she was like, you want to do it? I was like, I hope this doesn't like bother, you know, again. And he was like, nah, dude, you're like definitely the best person for the job, you know, because I could like put together little things for our routine where I'm like mixing out shit and like have her drop an acapella and I drop in like a 80s electro beat or so, you know what I mean? Right. Like that just kind of like paid tribute to that, her eclectic sounds, you know?
This was after like Paper Planes, right?
It was during Paper Planes. It was
2008.
Yeah, it was that album, Paper Planes, it popped right after that tour, like when that Pineapple Express movie came out.
Did you work on the album before that? I think it was called like R.O.A.D.
Yeah. No. But that's when we like knew her and met her and started like traveling.
Because a lot of people don't know about that album, but it was actually a really good album.
Yeah. So that has the Bucky Done Gone with the ballet funk beat, and it's got
Sun Shower.
Yeah, like Sun Shower. But the first one was Galang. That was her first joint. Yeah. And then I don't know if You're a Cutie was on that, the one with the Baltimore Club beat.
It was.
That was on. I didn't know if it was like a bonus cut or on it, but I know it was that time too. Yeah. So that's like the only thing that I might have been like second-handed involved in was because I bought that record and brought it to Philadelphia for people to hear. Right.
Yeah, M.I.A. at that time, it was really like in Vegas when we were spinning, it was really popping in L.A. Yeah, and it would leak over. but the mainstream crowd didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
we
I still wonder today.
Sun Showers and all that.
I still wonder today, like outside of Paper Planes, what
if people know about that?
What would the throw like if there's any like and like sometimes I'll try it. But I think I've been meaning to try it. Like,
a lot of women know Bad Girls.
Yeah, Bad Girls.
That was the shit. I did play that a lot.
That was a great record.
That was Danger Hands did that.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah, and that was I had that from that tour, and it didn't come out like 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was always like, yo, this is the joint.
But didn't that one have Missy Elliott and shit like that? Well, that's another track from M.I.A. probably.
That was off the first one too, or no? She was on a track on Missy's album with Vibes Cartel. It was called I forget what it's called, but it had like it was when that like Destiny's Child Lose Your Breath like drumline thing wasn't like that was like one of them joints.
So what was your dynamic with Diplo? Like, cause I've heard like with Hollertronix, and then obviously he worked with M.I.A.
Right.
And then Hollertronix just started like disappearing a little bit.
Yeah. So I think like originally when we first started working together, I was kind of already established as like one of the like young DJs working in the city. Like I said, I had regular working gigs.
I've spoken to multiple people about you, like to other fellow DJs, and they always said, and they were telling me, all of them were basically saying, you were the party rocking party DJ.
Right.
And Diplo was kind of like the dude who would take chances and play
experimental.
Push, push the envelope.
Right.
But then it would kind of circle back to you to kind of bring everybody back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. So you know how like when you first start DJing, you're like, yo, I'm going to educate the crowd, or like I don't know if you want. I feel like most DJs go through that phase, right? Yeah. So I feel like maybe I had already gone through that phase. So I was maybe a little more just grounded with what's maybe realistic, but it was a great push-pull, right? Because if I'm getting too conservative, then he'll be like, yo, we should try this. And if it flops, then I'm there like, no, we'll hit him with the, Real Love remix. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
I feel like Ayers and 11 kind of had that dynamic with the rub.
Right.
Like Ayers, it was would drop something.
Here's the thing. At the same time, like Wes was totally up on like regular shit. It wasn't like he was a complete, and at the same time I was totally into weird shit, but as the dynamic, it just worked because when we would it was like a battery, like the a negative positive, and so that was the role for a while. But then like after you start DJing for a while, you can both do what you both do,
right?
And so when we started getting booked and then he had the production thing bubbling way before any of this, and like he was on Ninja Tune, like making like trip hop type shit, like DJ Shadow and stuff like that. So he had that working for him, and so we just started getting busy. And like we were 25 or something. So you're gonna have like your spats and your arguments, and it was never anything major, but it's just like you just start wanting to do your own thing after a while.
Right.
I think he's doing all right.
I've heard he's doing okay, just a little bit, not so much, but right there.
I mean, what kind of person, like, when you were working with him, Diplo? I mean, Diplo, would you say he's, like, kind of, like, he's become this cultural icon for EDM music a little bit? Like,
is it EDM? I don't even know, man. I feel like he's just, like, I feel like EDM sells him short. I
know what I mean. Because
he's way more interesting than EDM.
Yeah, you're right.
He's always looking for new, like, world sounds.
Yeah.
Now it's country, what I mean? So it's, like, he's always trying to... He's like just ever since from back in the day, he's not afraid to be weird about something. But still, I think like now since he's, become more experienced and seasoned, he knows how to put it in a better like, package. That's like
you're right. It is like kind of bringing a lot of world music to the forefront, right? Mixing reggae,
making it palatable,
right,
to like someone that might not be into that music on its own, like a concentrated version of that. Making it just like adding a little bit of elements to make it so that. Someone who might not normally hear that shit would be into it.
At the time when he was kind of evolved, would you say he evolved the most when he was producing with M.I.A. and working with her at the time?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't really know much about his process, to be honest.
Really?
Like I kind of just know more. Like we worked more on the DJ shit. I wish I probably did more production stuff with him. But we were kind of always...
So when you guys were doing like Holla Tronics, like remixes and stuff, how did you guys work together on those? I mean, it was a lot of mash.
It wasn't like super production oriented.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I used to make shit then because that shit was so easy to make.
Right.
And now, like, I sit down to try and do stuff, and I'm like, I'm not good at it. You know, I might need like a. I'm not saying I'm not good at it, but I don't have the patience to finish a lot of shit. Like, it's the tedious aspects of like working in a program. Like, I have the ideas, but flushing them out doesn't always happen.
I mean, dude, like the Baltimore Club stuff in the beginning was probably some of the worst quality sound shit ever.
Oh,
it was horrific.
Bit rate was nasty.
It's so funny too because like we talk about how music now doesn't have a lot of good like production quality to it, and I'm like super vocal about it. And then I listen to my shit, and I'm like, who the hell am I to talk about whack production? But that's kind of like punk rock though too, right? When you're just like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I'm just making something, you know.
Right.
And that's like all the kids in Philly that ended up like Sega and all them, the younger dudes that ended up Swizzy Mac that became like the Philly club guys.
Yeah,
they were making stuff off, cracked programs, PlayStation.
There was something about that poor quality that made it cool for Baltimore.
Yeah, it was grimy.
Like
it
that
was
dirty,
like
kind of like,
it was dirty.
It could be, if done right, it could be, right.
It was like a really, it was like I don't know, like a digital version of like a really scratchy record.
Yeah,
but
well,
it was
half
like,
of them are sampling like the think break and the sing break. Right?
Yeah.
So that's like coming from a dusty origin, you know. And then
because even like the Galan Girl and all that stuff, like some of the drums, I remember hearing it. I thought
that was all. Was that Switch that did all that? I don't know.
I thought it was. I thought the Switch came in with.
Oh, that's right.
Major
It was me.
Lazer.
It was me. I was Ghost Protector.
It was the Ghost of Low.
But it sounded distorted, but it was like, oh shit, like that's
Well, yeah.
It was
That's like the Extension shit
right?
before the XXX Tentacion shit before that. You know how that, because like my friend was like, what the hell is going on here? And I was like, you know what, man, let them little kids do their thing.
Let them kids live, man.
So then, wait, around what time so I was not an internet, like I was on the internet, obviously, you know what I mean, but I was not a Holla Board guy,
right?
And I mean, it was huge, and everyone would talk about it. I didn't even really conceptualize what the forums were. I thought I couldn't even imagine myself being on like a forum for like hours.
Yeah, well, we always were. Like, that's what I was saying, them graph message boards, we were always using them. So when we made the Hollertronix website, we were like, yo, we got to have a message board because, I don't know.
Is it a message board? Is it a forum? What I mean,
I think they're synonyms.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, so we were like, we got to have that because we would have so much fun on these other ones. Like, there would be people, like, getting in the fight. It was funny. It was, like, Philly scene shit, you know? Yeah. So we were like, so let's keep it going and just make it more, like, on an international level. You know, we'll collect our own weird collection of characters and come up with our own inside jokes and stuff like that. Word replacements, you know? Like, when you type in laptop, penis comes up. So it's like
I mean... It was a weird time because I mean, even when we talk to certain DJs now, like, you know,
more than I was even involved in it.
Really?
Like, because I was like I said, like I wasn't always there. You know, I was at the beginning, but when that shit was really blowing up, I was traveling a lot and I was just like caught up in my own shit. I was not participating to the level that like a lot of DJs were.
Yeah,
I was kind of just like the holler, like God watching the children or something.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a little.
There are dudes that like, you know, Raticon was known to just being like, he admits at that time he was a complete
troll.
asshole.
Yeah. Him and my boy Rome's too. He was like on there. And Brendan, that Brendan, I gotta shout him out because that's like a close homie that was part of all that too. Yeah.
And then, I mean, there are people that are butt hurt still to this day.
Yeah.
About
over Hollerboard.
Hollerboard. Yeah.
I wonder. I hope no one's mad. I don't think I got on anyone too bad, but.
Yeah, there's people who still talk about Rock. Like, yo, he should have this.
Kurt Corners is the recent one. He's like,
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
They had a run-in on Hollerboard.
Even Craze.
Craze said that shit too.
Yeah.
Was Craze? I don't know how well. I don't remember seeing. I remember A-Track being on there. 4 Colors Act for sure.
I think Craze posted a mix.
Craze was, that's what I mean. Everyone was on there and posted music, but as far as like the actual, but what Craze posted a mix and Rock the Con.
And Rock the Con, just kind of. He didn't really. I think he just said like the selection is off, like it's too commercial, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I've had limited interactions with Rock the Con. I know he never liked us. He always hated on Holla Tronics.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And then he said something on the board about one of my friends, and I was like, yo, this dude's always mad about something. And he messaged me, and he was like, I'm not mad, man. I'm just being critical. I like something. I was like, you're right, man. I should have said that to your face and not just said it. But so it was like a weird, pleasant interaction. But that's that's the extent of it. But I always like watch him, and I appreciate that character. I have a lot of that in me.
He's super dope.
Yeah,
a lot of people, he's misunderstood.
I can see past that. You know what I mean? Like I probably have reasons to not like that guy, but I feel like I'm the same way. No, so many times I'm this like I can't. You know, I see I see in you what I see in myself.
Like, he's really funny, and a lot of people don't see this shit.
Yeah. I appreciate brutal honesty.
No, it's funny.
More than like.
The circle jerk shit.
The
DJs are bad with that shit too, man. You know, no, and it's good to have a little of that old school, like, because when I first started DJing, I kind of just had it in my head that like I was gonna get dissed. I was gonna, you know, I've been booed, you know, in Philly. Like I don't know if that happens now, you know.
But isn't Philly known as the booing capital?
The most negative place on earth.
You guys are known for booing
it's a city
everybody.
Of love, but they love. But
I mean, even
we like to boo.
Even comedians, right? Like
the Bill Burr.
The Bill Burr. What Bill Burr is just saying. You guys are the most miserable fucking city.
I don't know why we are, man. I was thinking about that too because I'm like out in LA and like I've already just like made small talk with strangers so much more often because I'm just like, yo, you don't have that look on your face like something's bad.
It's almost like an underdog mentality that Philly has though.
So it's an underdog thing. It's years of failure of sports teams. You know what I mean?
You guys just won the Super Bowl. Let's give you guys props.
It's not changing anything yet, though, man. I think it changed for like 6 weeks.
I was watching an interview with Sylvester Stallone, and he was saying like he loves Philly because of that spirit, and how like there's so many historical things that have come from Philly, but they don't get credit for.
Yeah,
and it's always like New York gets the credit for everything. And Philly's just in the background, like we don't get credit.
There's
for shit.
There's like a little brother thing. But New York's known for its attitude too. Yeah. So it's like, so I guess Philly's is going to be a little more worse because we're just like, we're mad about that. And, we're mad about our sports teams. But there is just something about, isn't it all East Coast cities kind of like that or no? You're from New York, right? Like,
from New York. Well, you can't say Philly had bad sports because you guys won with the Phillies not long ago.
Phillies in 2008 and Super Bowl 2 years ago. And that was the first time since like the early 80s. I'm just saying someone my age, we just grew up with a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. I mean, Allen Iverson got smacked by the Lakers, but you know.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was brutal.
Right, and like a total Philly, we still post the step over. Of Raja or who was it?
Tyronn Lue.
Tyronn Lue. And I'm like, yo, you lost that series 4-1. That's such a Philly thing to do. But we stepped over you at one point and made you look stupid. Yeah, it's
step over.
Look, man, I love Philly. I've lived in that area almost my whole life, and I love all that stuff. Like it makes you who you are, but it's not like the best parts of your character. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, yo, if I didn't have this, maybe I would be more successful or something like that.
You never thought of leaving Philly?
Huh? I lived in the Bay for like a year. I was going to move to LA, but like it was hectic times, man. So it wasn't the best time to be making moves like that. And now it's like, I don't know. It's like a lot of Philly residents. My family's there. They're getting older. And I don't know. I like to be around for that. Is where I'm comfortable. But who knows?
What is the Philly obsession with Rocky, though? Like,
it was our most successful sports figure for 30 years.
That's what it is, right?
It was true. Yeah, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I posted, I was like, I'm so glad we won't have to look to a fictional sports character as our hero.
It's kind of crazy, right?
But he embodied that whole thing though too, right? Like he's from Kensington. He's like driving around the L, but he's like Italian, so he's running through the Italian market, and he's got like that. It kind of annoys me that the Philly accent is not very present in Rocky. They do that yo, hey yo. That's more like a New York thing. You know what I mean? And
I thought that's how Philly motherfuckers talk.
Yeah, me too.
Nah, they're like, yo, cuz. Philly's like, yo, cuz, what up? You know, like it's like a little more.
A little Boston-y?
We pronounce our R's in Philly. So it's not Boston-y. It's kind of like, that's what makes it different. Yeah. We like lean in the R's. Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell that fucking
Philly accent. It was a good Philly accent on TV. Is like, you know that movie Sleepers?
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
He's got a great Philly accent in that.
Oh, really?
He plays a mean security guard or the mean guard at the prison.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to him talk, and he's from the area, so
he was doing a good Philly accent.
Yeah. There's a few spots that get it right, but yeah, a lot of times
there's a couple.
It's similar to Baltimore accent too. If you watch The Wire, that's like when
yeah?
I started watching The Wire, I was like, oh damn, they sound like Philly dudes. Yeah.
Wow. There's like a Philly slang too. Like you guys call everything John.
Yeah. I'm on bad terms with John right now.
Really?
Yeah, because gentrification's fucking it up for everyone. It's
what
like,
about
what's
Chompy?
going on? Wait.
Chompy's the shit. But
wait, can we explain some of this shit?
Yeah.
Because Cosmo kind of explained to me back in the day. He'd be like, that John, and I was like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah,
right
so
now?
John's just like thing like
JAWN.
Yeah, I guess that's how it's spelled.
JAWN. Yeah.
The first time I saw John was at like written out was it was like a flyer for a hip hop party like 98, 99.
Yeah,
and it said the official New Year's Eve hip hop John, and I was like, yo, that's dope. They wrote it out, because like until that point, like until the internet and all that came about, like you just heard words. Now then you had to figure out how to spell certain slang words. So yeah, I mean, right now it's like Philly's like so many other cities is getting gentrified.
That's bad.
So it's like they're forcing John into like these ad campaigns, and it's so corny. Dude. So and now it's like people that like just shouldn't be using it are using it.
It's like if San Francisco was like advertising, they're like, "Come to San Francisco, the weather's hella nice."
Yeah, but it would be wrong. Like, but it's not even like that. It would be like, "Come to San Francisco. We have hella weather." You know what I mean? And it's like they use it off. It's like there was a billboard. It said like, "There's no John like home," and I was like, "That's not how you say it."
When did they start that?
This was like 3 or 4 years ago.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, that was the first one where it was like used in an ad campaign, and now there's like even the Phillies. They were like, come out for a college night, and the first John's on us. And like, what the hell are you talking about? It was, I guess you get a free beer or something.
Oh my!
But you're hearing like Tom McCarthy, the like 50-some-year-old announcer, say, "You're like, what are you talking about, man?" So yeah, John's on the outs, I think, right now.
It's like when you heard,
but it's not though. Everyone still uses it, but we just like when certain people say it, it's like, nah.
Yeah, I remember I saw a video with DJ M. He was like, it used to be, yo, what's up with that John, and then it was a Jimmy Johanna.
Jimmy John. I never used that too much, but that might have been like an older thing.
And then Chompy.
Right, what's that?
Chompy was just like that. I like that because that's like something my uncles would say or something. Like that's like an older.
What is that?
Let me get that Chompy right there. It's the same as John.
It's kind of a plausible thing right there. Give me that Chompy right there.
Yo, it's just a noun for a thing.
Chompy.
Let me get one of them Chompies. Yeah, let me get one of them.
That's so crazy.
But they actually made like pre-rap snacks. They made chips called Chompies, and they had like what was
this
the
afterwards?
This was the 80s.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And they'd have like little like
I would never eat
hood
that.
characters.
I would never eat that, by the way.
Hood characters.
yeah.
Like baby's kids or something. What would they have on there?
Nah, they'd have like the white dude and it'd be like Kevin, and then they have like a girl, and be like. And then there'd be like a black dude on there and be like Ron, and it'd just be like Chumpies. You could Google
what's going on.
Yo, Google Chumpies potato chips, man. You'll see what I'm talking
It's like
about.
the 80s version of Rap Snacks.
It was pre-Rap Snacks, and there was another one. Oh, Homegirls. Did you have Homegirls?
No.
What are you talking? Are you talking about chips still?
Chips.
Cricket's face.
What the fuck is Philly doing?
I had Fritos.
Yo, man, there's
Fritos?
yeah, that's a big market though.
That's
the
crazy.
snacks.
I don't know about you. Chompies, is it still around in Philly?
I don't think they make Chompies.
I wouldn't
no more,
mind trying
nah.
one. I don't know. I wouldn't mind trying it. Chompies.
I wouldn't do that shit. What is it, made in Philly too? Fuck that. I'm not eating that shit.
Made out of Scrapple.
What do you call? Oh, while we're on the Holla Board and we're talking about that, I want to talk about Spank Rock. Spank Rock. We just had Pace Rock on here, and I completely blew a gasket, and I don't remember anything about Spank Rock.
Yeah, he goes by Naeem now. He changed that name. That's what his regular name. So yeah, that's actually a good tie-in because there was all these like interesting kids that would come to the parties.
Yeah,
him and Amanda Blank, and then like Jason Musson, who was like became an artist in New York. But Naeem would be there, and he was just super psyched on everything. He was from Baltimore, so he appreciated like the Baltimore aspect, but he was also a weird kid, so he was into all the other stuff. And he kind of started making music that I guess was a good representation of that sound. Him and Triple Exchange was his producer.
A Baltimore Club.
Nah, it was just like a hybrid of all types of shit. Like he would have stuff that sounded like LCD Sound System with Baltimore Club drums, and he'd be rapping like booty rap, twerk rap.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like he was a big predecessor to all the like, what did that shit end up being called? Like the Kid Cudi and all that stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pace Rock said that.
Yeah.
Exactly what Pace Rock
I'm
said.
not saying like that Kid Cudi didn't like wasn't him on his own, but I feel like someone like Spank Rock maybe like paved the way to make that an easier possibility for someone like that to come around.
And he was just big, like pause. He was just big on the Hollerboard. Like everyone would just worship him.
Yeah, I don't think he actually posted a lot.
No.
Yeah.
But there was so much talk about him on there, and everyone saying how he was basically, what was the quote? We owe Spank Rock everything. Like
for real?
Yeah. They were just saying that he was part of the Holla Board legacy.
Yeah, for sure. More like the just the Hollertronix like vibe.
Yeah.
He was kind of like the MC that represented that vibe.
How did you guys link up?
He would come to parties.
Wow.
He would just come to the parties, and he gave me his CD, and he was like, "Yo, this is my shit." I was like, "I didn't know you were making music." He had given me some old shit, and it was like, "Yo, it was like backpack shit, or kind of similar to it." Then he's like, "This is what I'm working on now," and I listened to it. I was like, "Yo, this is actually really good." You know how when someone gives you a CD, you're like, "Oh man, I hope I don't gotta lie about this."
Right.
And then like, I listened to it, and then I remember me and Wes were doing a thing in Seattle, and he was on Ninja Tune at the time. And I was like, yo, this is Naeem's shit, man. It's pretty good. And he was like, yeah. He's like, this is good. He gave it to him, and he was like, they were ready to put it out as is, They were like, but he was like, that's just the demo. They were like, well, this is good enough. I don't know what they probably ended up like fixing stuff, but yeah.
It's crazy at that time when that was happening, and I remember Pace Rock telling me that he thought Spank Rock was so influential. He would even say his style and the way he dressed affected even Kanye and everybody.
He was definitely the first skinny jeans rapper, like hands down. We talked to him too, like and like he's like, I don't know if I want that to be my big claim, but no, for sure, man. And I remember too, like I was gonna work on a mixtape with him. I feel bad about this because it was like kind of me being like hip hoppy, and he was like, you remember when like all the joints that were out, like In My White Tee, and like then they did like then they did like the In My Black Tee, and he wanted to do one In My Tight Tee. And I was like, I don't know about that, man. It was like, but he was on to that shit, man. He didn't give a fuck. Because he was like us, like he liked hip hop, he liked the hipster shit, he liked rock, So he was kind of always, and he always wanted to like just be an individual. He was into like Prince and that kind of like aesthetic of just like, this dude's into all types of shit.
Yeah, he Pace Rock actually referenced. He said he's like the Prince. Yeah,
he's a big Prince guy. And then when I saw him perform, he performed at Holla Tronics. Check out this show we had. Him, M.I.A, and Bun B.
Wow.
Shit. For Halloween, that was like our big night. And
Halloween. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And this was after we got a little bit of clout. And so I think like Fader or one of them was willing to put up some loot for some shit. And we were like, Bun B, M.I.A, and then that was Spank Rock's debut. And when I saw him perform, like he had this like Mick Jagger like energy, presence where I was like, okay, he's not just a rapper, like he's got like emotions, like James Brown type shit, where he's like, trying to be all extra, but it worked, And I was like, that impressed me too, because we're coming from the age where rap is not always the best live performance, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, like I feel like we all love hip hop, but a lot of it is best listened to like in your headphones.
Is that how Bun B and M.I.A connected with the Paper Planes remix?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh wow.
It was definitely before that.
Yeah. So I always wondered.
But Bun B was into our shit. Like I DJ'd for him. We did a festival in Norway, and he like just went. He didn't have a DJ.
Oh,
and like Matt Sanzala, shout out Matt Sanzala from Austin, or he's like the mayor of like Texas hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
He likes to do a lot of writing and stuff. He was out there with him, and he was like, "Yo, you should." He's like, "This is Europe, man. Like, you should have a DJ." So he like asked me to hop on. So I got to drop like Big Pimpin' while he's rapping.
Wow.
It's a rapping sorry, you know. I was like, that was cool, man.
It was at the time. I remember Houston rap, Texas rap was really blowing up.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
There was like mixtapes for it.
Right. That was the other thing too. Like, I don't know if what we did, what that would even look like today, because everything gets sucked up so quick and everyone gets made aware of something so quick because of the internet. Like, something comes out, everybody's up on it, everybody has it. At that time, there was still a place for someone to be like, "Yo, check this out. Like, have you heard this? This is regional music." You know, the internet hadn't blown up. YouTube wasn't even out yet.
And you could really hear the region, even with DJs, right? You can tell where a DJ was from by like what they played and their style.
It's your favorite topic.
I mean, it's not really that. I wanted
I'm down.
I wanted to talk about it because I was just like, no, I mean, because of the internet, I don't know if you can have. Do you think it's possible to exist where
regional
people can have a regional sound? I think.
Yeah.
You think so?
My boy Joe doesn't think so. Dirty South Joe. He says like there's no like regional hip hop doesn't exist, but I still think
it's like blurred lines, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I think like people can find out about it easier, but the popularity of it, like we talk about, like people don't really like West Coast hip hop is a thing now, but we still on the East Coast don't really play too much of it.
Yeah,
you know. So it is regional.
It's weird.
People still want to represent for their hometown, you know?
Yeah, but it was when Kendrick came out with Humble and all that, it was one of the few times that I actually saw New York wilding the fuck out to like West Coast shit. Because I was like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
that had a certain energy to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe the production had something to do with that too.
The production.
Because it wasn't like a mustard sound.
No, but like Kendrick was on his way to he was
superstar status.
Yeah.
He was already there though by that record.
There's so many records coming from the West right now. Like they're running hip hop right now.
Yeah, I download them all and then I stop and I'm like, I don't need them. You know? It's like the Baltimore Club shit. You know what I mean?
Well, like you DJ'd on Saturday and you're here on the West Coast. I mean,
okay, so this is what I did, right?
You got to be hearing a lot of songs like, oh shit, like what are they?
It was a throwback party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was 2000, so that was kind of my wheelhouse. Yeah. But I was doing like PSA. I did like a Jay-Z medley. Yeah. Wasn't really working like that.
No.
And I don't really know much LA shit from that time. Like I played like the Jerk shit.
We didn't have anything,
so I played the hyphy shit.
Yeah,
that shit went off.
Right.
Yeah. But that was cool because that's something I can't do at home, you know?
Yeah.
But
mid-2000, all we had was the game.
Right. I played This Is How We Do. That was one of the biggest joints. So I tried to stretch it and I did like the jerk move. Like, with like Cat Daddy and all that stuff. So I was
really that's like towards the end, but
yeah, I was pushing it. That's like 2011.
So why do you think that the East Coast isn't accepting of the West Coast?
I don't think it's about acceptance. I think there's still just like the radio, and there's like gatekeepers that push certain things. That if something's out there and it catches fire, it'll work. Tatiana, people like that. But that's because it's like.
But it
like booty shit. You know,
had the Cardi B remix too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But like people liked that chorus, you know, it was like drop down, anything that's like twerky stripper instructions, you know what I mean? Like people like that. I'm trying to think of what other West Coast joints I play.
Cause like
Big Bang kind of did a little something, but like where I was at, I would like cut in the Nicki verse. I would cut in from that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, because a lot of the places I DJ at, there's like a big gay crowd to it. So like. There are certain artists that
Nicki
they fuck with heavy. Yeah.
Beyonce and Nicki.
Right. So, I'll come up back again, and then that's all. That's all you need. You need the hook in that, and then you get out of it.
Wow. You just do that.
Yeah.
Wow. I've always just wondered why, even when hyphy was popping, why like the East Coast didn't.
Hyphy didn't really do anything.
It didn't do shit on the East Coast.
That was the biggest shit out here.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. I loved it.
It's great.
And even like records like Blow the Whistle.
Blow the Whistle kind of is a little bit
because Jay-Z got on there proudly.
They weren't the biggest though. They
played the Jay-Z remix more out there.
I forgot that even existed.
Yeah.
I don't play Tell Me When to Go at all on the East Coast. Blow the Whistle. I don't even.
What about you and that? Much. You and that by
E40.
E40.
That's warm up at best. You know.
It's funny because I would have like Cali or West Coast DJs would come to New York. And they would run these West Coast records, and it would be like
no reaction.
And this is back in the day, you know.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't work. But even when I go to New York nowadays, it seems like they're stuck in a different time zone.
New York is still a pocket, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a bubble. And I haven't DJ'd in New York in a while.
I don't even know much about the Harlem scene, but the Harlem scene is like a pocket in its own. It's like another world.
I remember hearing
Boogie Blind.
Yeah. I think on that episode,
it's a completely different world to like the bottle service.
I never got a request for that. Put the light on them.
Oh, it's huge in Harlem, and I don't know if it's.
I got a request 2 weeks ago, the first time.
Shine a light on them.
Shine a light on them. Yeah. And I had it because of that episode.
Really?
Yeah. But I was like,
it's funny because like
I was like, are you? I didn't talk to the dude. I should have been like, are you from New York or something? Because I don't. Yeah.
I would try to play here in Vegas, and I just gave up. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna.
Oh, it's not. No one's doing it.
Nah.
What's
you definitely they chop off them first like 8 bars or something, right? Ain't it just the beat? And
and you know what? The New Yorkers, I've noticed about New York DJs, they don't want to share anything. They want to keep it all to themselves. They're like it's very school. Different. Yeah. It's like very old school.
I had that for a long
Bronx,
time.
Like Bronx record shopping mentality, like digging, like yo. Like
I had that with the Serato when and everyone was trading hard drives. I was like, why are you giving? When we started pressing up vinyl, like that was all Diplo's idea because I was like, why would we give other DJs our mixes?
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like,
but now they're doing it to get famous.
Obviously.
Right?
That's a terrible thought. You know what I mean? Like that's antiquated. That's just not how the world works anymore.
But I thought I saw a recent tweet with Ellie. I think he showed like a video. Ellie Escobar. Shout to Ellie. He was DJing some party and he had some. I'm not gonna remember it. He had remix. It could have been a Madonna remix or something. And everyone was like, "Yo, where's that remix? Where can we get that?" And he's like, "Well, I gotta have some." Edits and some remixes.
Keep some for myself. Yeah, I guess there's a balance, right? You got to work a balance where like you're not like totally stingy and you're helping people out.
But I like that a lot.
Your joints.
Yeah,
I like it too.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
actually,
right.
And I don't think a lot of the younger kids appreciate that as much.
That mentality.
I don't think that was something
because they put their whole sets out there. You know what I mean? And they really put everything out there.
Yeah. It's one of them things where it's like. Are you just the guy who's like you're going to be left behind because you're not going to adapt to this new thought, you know? So you just kind of look like I was like that, you know?
But did you what's his name? I think it was Scratch or somebody posted something on Instagram recently where they were like, if you keep posting all your routines and all your tricks, everyone's just going to steal your shit.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to take all your ideas and take all your concepts.
Yeah.
And I kind of think it's like, I think maybe like a few years ago, it was like, let's put it all out there. Let's get some social media content. Let's get famous. And I think now it's like, we got to control this shit because there's so many DJs out there.
Or like edits and stuff like that.
Or just seeing like your Instagram stories of someone watching you and being like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And then you just kind of lose a sense of like style or like.
That's another thing I'm old school with though too. I forget to Instagram my shit all the time.
I'm horrible at it, bro.
I'm really bad
at it.
Or like sometimes when the party's at its most popping point, it ain't really from like a song that's like super interesting.
Are you getting requests for Pop Smoke?
Yeah, Pop Smoke. I was
and I remember when I first heard that song, I posted about it. I was like, you got my attention because it's an interesting song to me because the beat is kind of like the UK. It's made by UK dude. And the voice, it's kind of like it's. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "This guy's from New York," you know. And I'm like going through new music, and I'm hearing all the like, "Man, fuck on your bitch, pull up in Rari's," you know what I mean? And I'm just, and then I hear this shit, and I'm like, he's like, it sounds like Ja Rule, Cowardly Lion type shit, and I was like,
Cowardly Lion,
I don't know, you know, the Wizard of Oz, and I was like, this is cool, man. This guy's got a cool voice, and then. I hear that beat with the dub sound coming. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. I was like, all right, this shit's cool, but I haven't heard it. I heard someone playing it out of their car in Philly, out of them weird like. Actually, my boy said that he heard it coming out of the car, and so I'm like quoting him. I don't know if that even happened, but yeah, that's it.
I feel like
that's all I got.
I don't know. Do you think that sound's gonna emerge and leak over to the U.S.? That UK grime, that drill sound?
I feel like it has. I don't know what kind of commercial success it's going to see.
Well, Drake tried it, and it didn't really hit.
With the Skepta and all that stuff?
On that More Life.
I know they had that Nicki Minaj remix with the Welcome to the Party. Yeah.
Oh, is that on it? And French Montana did one too, but that's kind of like doubling down on the New York. You know what I mean? That's gonna, I don't know how necessary that was. If you had like a Southern dude on there, that might have been. You have to put like a Gunna or a Lil Baby or someone.
The
on
Baby would have been dope too.
Yeah, the Baby.
Yeah,
I think
any of the babies, the baby, Lil Baby, any baby.
I think the Baby would have killed it.
The Baby
just because of the tone of his voice.
Yeah,
it's very similar.
And his flow is like kind of bouncy. Like
he's got probably one of the best flows that's came out in
the past years.
No, and I was like, when I first saw, I was like, yo, someone is not calling themselves the Baby for real. And I listened to it and I was like, oh, I like this. I was like, this is actually like
the clarity in his voice is crazy.
Yeah, he raps fast. He can rap, man. He can rap from an old school perspective.
Almost like the new version of Ludacris, almost.
Yeah, it's a good comparison. Yeah.
He's got a really great flow and his voice.
It's mature. It's not. It is like it. You can't really be mad at it from any type of hip hop perspective. Yeah.
I'm what do you call it? That would have been perfect. The Baby on that remix.
Yeah.
I don't think you think that's gonna pop in the West.
I mean, we only seen it pop at Everyday People. Like I said,
when there was all those New York transplants.
Yes, I did an LA party and I tried to drop it. And it was a young kids crowd and I had to pull out. Pause.
Yeah, I haven't even tried to drop it. I haven't found like an appropriate place for it. You know, it's kind of like the energy level is low. I like it as a song, as something that's new, but I'm not going to try and force it into a party unless like. You need something else to go with it.
You got to really recover from it.
Yeah.
You got to be
ready.
That's how I feel about pop. We're just going back to the Pop Smoke record.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to get into. And then I'm like, well,
it's a weird beginning, too.
Well,
there's a joint in Philly by this dude, Sim Santana, called Flexin' and Flashin', which is like, that's kind of getting, and that's on the same vibe. Like, it's street shit. Yeah.
So I was just in Boston over the weekend, and it was a guy from New York. He asked me to play it, and I was like, cool, I got you. I played it. And
everyone looked down.
Kind of wild out.
His three friends.
It was just like,
yo, we got it.
And then even they bailed on you. They sold you. I hate when people do that shit. Man, they'll request something. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna need you to represent because I'm taking a chance here.
I feel like he like saw the crowd and he kind of went in.
He cowered. Yeah.
He was like, oh,
I hate that.
That's a good point though.
He was like, oh shit, what did I do?
When people sell you out. Yeah.
I fucking hate that. If someone comes to me and requests something like twice or three times,
like, yo, I'll take a chance for you, but you better represent because you might be the only people, and you're gonna make me look really dumb if you look at all the other people.
Him and his buddies at a table that were spending money, so I'm like, you know what, like y'all are cool. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And I think he looked and he's like, abort.
He could do that. Get out.
What if he gave you one of these? Like, yo, why are you playing this shit?
I might have really been pissed.
Right. Or looked at you saying like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's tough, man.
The worst
so many songs like
the worst shit is when they ignore it. Like you play their shit and they just kind of drinking like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Like no kind of reaction or appreciation.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe like tip his drink to me. I'm like, fuck you. Y'all should have been like wilding out.
Do you guys DJ places with multiple rooms a lot? Or are you mainly holding it down? Because I'm always in places with multiple rooms, so that's like another level of like something you need to worry about, you know? Because it's like the first time something ain't hitting, like people be like, oh, let's check out.
Is that a lot in Philly?
Nah. I think like I'm fortunate. I like the clubs I DJ at now. They're like they're one of the like pretty successful big clubs with a lot of rooms, and like they fill up, and I don't think that's normal though, you know. But for me, like I started doing a lot of these spots like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, yo, this is a whole other added level of like. That's why I get so mad when songs don't work. I'm like, lose the room, you know. You could lose the room for playing the right song too long. Yeah. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's that's like
true.
I remember being like when there's like multiple rooms and then like people leave, you're just like, what the fuck did I play wrong? Like what's going on?
Right. Sometimes it's not even your
somebody
fault.
smashing it.
I had that feeling last time me and Peter did our party, and we have an upstairs and downstairs, and then everybody started going up, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm fucking this up."
Yeah.
Like, Peter, what do I do?
Yeah, and I'll go up, run up, see if he's killing it. The other DJ.
Oh, you do that? Yeah,
I don't do that.
Nah, sometimes if I can't figure it out, but then I'll be like, okay, it's just like it's slow right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'll be like, okay, maybe I better step it up. He's got him locked in, you know? But I don't know.
From a consumer standpoint, sometimes people just want to change the scenery real fast.
Or like, sometimes it'll be like a group of people having fun, and then they'll have one friend come in from the other and be like, yo, let's go over here. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Everyone's having fun.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I have that super critical DJ view though. Like the rest of the room could be popping, but I'm worried about like the one group of people that's leaving the room. You know, like why?
Where you going?
Yeah.
Well, you see, when you've been DJing, because you're like a OG working club DJ.
Seasoned vet.
So when you've been doing clubs for that long, it becomes like there's elements of fun in there. Mm-hmm. But it's mathematics a little bit, right?
For me, it's like a game, right? You know, like I'm just like, what plays do I have to call to make this room like go as crazy as possible? Mm-hmm. And you know, the longer you've been DJing, your playbook is bigger. You know? Right. You're like, I can go back to 2004 Neptune's era, hit them with that, you know, and I can go into like 2008 like snap music. You know, you have this playbook. So when you see groups of people walk in, it's like reading the defense. You're like, all right, boom. You know, like this is the play to call. I've seen it work a million times. I have 100% faith in it. You know, so but then you can get creative when you're up by 30 points,
right?
You know, and you're like, all right, let's try some trick plays. Let's try some. You know, it's still fun. I still have fun doing it, and I feel real fortunate because there were so many ups and downs, but you know, I didn't know if DJing was going to happen in my 40s. You know, I'm early 40s.
I have a quick question. Where you DJ at now, do you get the freedom to play what you want? Like the manager trusts you?
Yeah.
Or he's like, no, hit, energy.
All right, so where I work is a club called Voyeur. I don't know if people usually name their clubs. I don't know.
I heard a few Voyeurs before.
Yeah. But so like, it's like real experienced management and owners. They've been like successful nightclub owners in the city for a while, and they know, you know, I've been around for a while, so I feel like I'm trusted to kind of like, I can count on like one hand the amount of times anyone said anything to me, and it's usually like the reverse. It's like, yo, just do whatever you got to do to get it to pop off, you know. Mm-hmm. Like don't even pay attention to what it's supposed to be, you know, like just make it work, you know. Like maybe you're in your head a little bit too much, you know. Like just do whatever you got to do, you know.
Reggae's popping out there. Is Afrobeats leaking over?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like the new dance hall, right?
Yeah.
Like for the right crowd.
It's a lot smoother though. It's not as fast.
Yeah, I go half and half with it. Like some shit I like, other songs I'm like, this is
very
putting me to sleep, man. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is reggaeton hitting out there as well?
For certain crowds.
Certain crowds.
Philly's got a big Latino population. You know, like a lot, just like New York, like a lot of Puerto Rican.
Is there any Mexicans in Philadelphia?
Yo, it's funny. The club I do on Sunday night, there's a Mexican party upstairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is. It's not as like prevalent as the West Coast, but every city has the. But like it's very insulated. Like they got like the cowboy hats on and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like they'll play like cumbia. I'll go in, they'll be playing cumbia. Then they'll play like Journey or something. Like it's like, and the dude's talking the whole time, cutting the music. It's a scene, right?
Oh shit!
They'll play bachata, they'll play reggaeton, you know. And then I have to DJ downstairs, so I don't know what they're playing at high time. But it's. So
wait, what are you playing?
It's a different party.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a completely different party, but it's in the same club.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dope. Yeah, my people in there, man.
Right. Yeah.
That's like having, I don't know. That's like having a restaurant.
It's like a buffet.
With it's like having a restaurant.
It's multiple rooms. It's so, you know what I mean? So
yeah, but those are such polar. It's not the standard of what you would think,
I think it's
right?
like a separate. It's its promoter. It's really its own thing, man. You know, like I think like on my night it's free or like $5.
Is it the same entrance?
You know. Yeah, but when you go downstairs, if you're here for the other party, you go up here.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes do you see like Mexican cowboys just hanging out in your room?
Yeah, they'll come, or sometimes the girls will come down because I'll be playing like Beyonce and shit. You know what I mean? So, and when I'll be the reggaeton I do play is the bangers. You know, so like everybody just wants to hear the bangers, man. It doesn't matter what scene you're in. You know,
That's
so
great,
sometimes they'll come down and they'll get hyped to it. Yeah.
I always wonder because there's a heavier presence of reggaeton in certain cities than other cities.
Yeah.
And I don't, for me, like, whenever I play reggaeton in Vegas, it gets the party moving to a certain extent, but I got to get out of it for certain rooms. Yeah. Like certain crowds, like on a Saturday.
Yeah, you hit everything's like three songs, right? But do you have a thing where like if you play one reggaeton song, you got to play at least two more?
Yeah, I feel like that's a very old school mentality.
Yeah, like it's like running rhythms.
I do that. Yes,
dance hall. You know, like you can't just play like Get Busy, Sean Paul. You got to play No Let It Go and fucking maybe Looney D.
And do you notice that like the newer generation of DJs, they don't follow any genre. They just hop like, every fucking where. They don't even follow energy. So
yeah, like I think that comes from one, just maybe not being around for that time, but when you had to buy vinyl, you would go to the store and you would grab like a stack for that week. And so you would work with them records and they were all songs that came out around the same time. They all kind of fit together. And so you had these little combos that you developed, the plays in the playbook, right? That you were forced to just work with a certain amount because these were like the new 5 to 10 records you bought. You go home, mess with them a little bit. And then you go out and then, to this day, there's certain songs that you've been mixing together for like 20 years, you know? Because you probably bought them 2 records the same day, go ahead.
And then probably the production was by the same
similar, same tempo, the same way it is now, the same way like if you organize your songs by BPM in Serato, it's almost chronological. Yeah, with a little exceptions here and there. Yeah. But like you'll see, like, all right, everything was like 83 BPMs in 2008, whether it's like Rude Boy or or
Still in Love with You or something.
Yeah, like all you'll see, and so. Also, from the vinyl mentality, you learn how to maximize songs because you're like you only had this many songs on you, so you weren't just gonna burn a banger without having like set up records. You knew you had to like make the most of this shit. Where after Serato, even I got a little careless. Like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go in early. I got 1,000 other songs, but the mentality's still there. Where you're like, I'm not just gonna waste a banger. I'm going to set it up so that when I drop it, it's the right time.
Yeah, I feel like I love listening to like younger DJs that just flow through different genres and I love like there's no rhyme or reason to it all except for the fact that they're like I like this song I like this song and they're like in the same BPM just put it
that's
together.
All they have in common is BPM, right?
No, but I think there's like there's a genius behind it that I don't know if they even notice it where I'm listening to it and I'm like
you never thought of that because
I never thought of that, but I love that it breaks the predictability of some of the older sets.
Right. When you hear us spin, you know what's coming next sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. So I love hearing
I intentionally never play, I won't say never, but play, what's it called? The Rupee. Turn Me On, or after Kevin Little. I love that record. I won't do it.
But people expect it.
Yeah, it's almost like a letdown. That's the other thing too. There's like routines that are played out, and then there's other routines where like if you don't do it, you're whack. You know, like how you're not gonna play.
How did you not? How you gonna play Rupee and you don't play Turn Me On? You know,
Planet Are You From, man? Yeah.
Like I remember someone came up to me and they were like, "Oh, you played Act Up, but you didn't play Sweetie after." Right. And I'm like, "Oh,
now it would be Hot Girl Summer, right?" Yeah. Is that hitting out here?
Not really. It's kind of.
I heard you guys saying that on the thing. Oh. No, I was going to say for me that is one of the first songs in a long time that the day I got it, I played it, and it's kind of been working from the jump. Wow. Yeah,
it's been working.
But again, like Philly and my crowd, like they're into all that shit, so they're up on it. You know what I mean? And so Act
Sounds
Up,
like Philly
but I could see Saweetie. It's what, man, for being in a what we would call like a working DJ situation, it's pretty good, man. At least where I'm at. It's because it's just a fun energy. You can be a little more open than you would at regular spots. You can go deep into different catalogs, like a Nicki Minaj. You know what I mean? And and the energy's great. So I've done bottle service a few times. It wasn't really my thing. I don't really know how much of it is still going on in Philadelphia. Really, I've kind of been at the same spots for years now, and I'm happy there. And I don't really, if I'm not going to work there, it's going to be because I'm in LA. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't feel the need to make a lateral move to just go somewhere I'm not familiar with or something. You know,
bottle service in Philly, was that ever a big thing?
Yeah, I guess it was.
Was it?
But yeah, it's like Philadelphia is not really.
It's not a bottle service.
It's
city.
not a bottle service. So when they so when they try, so when they do, it's like, you know, it's either like a Sixers player, or someone who's probably not involved in legal activity. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Some of y'all cities, y'all gotta relax on the bottle service.
That's the thing, though, right? It's like everybody wants to be down. You know, oh, this is the new thing, bottle service. Everybody wants a bottle.
Nebraska having bottle service sounds crazy.
The strip clubs are popping, right?
I don't know. I'm not a big strip club guy, honestly. Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's anything crazy. Like I don't hear.
It's not like Atlanta.
It's not right. Like I know Atlanta
or DC.
Well,
the last time we talked a little bit before we recorded, the last time I was in Philly, I DJ'd and it was like a half club, half strip club, and it was popping.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, like girls were like.
A Philly strip club sounds scary.
Yeah,
maybe that's why I'm not a big strip club.
Looks like they will rob your ass quick.
Yeah. I think that's why. I think like every time I've gone, I've just been like, this isn't.
I feel like somebody will get set up outside.
I could see myself getting stabbed at a Philly strip club. It just sounds like something that would happen.
And I think they had.
Did you guys hear about
by the stripper?
Yeah, right in the neck.
Or seeing a stripper with stab wounds on herself, right?
Right. That's exactly. You're reminding me why. Like you were like,
never had a stripper with a gunshot wound or like a stab wound?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. I've seen like I've been in place and I've just been like, yeah, man, that's an odd profession you chose.
Stripper with gunshot wounds is crazy, bro. I've seen that in TJ once.
Gunshot wounds?
Yeah.
I've seen stab wounds. I've never seen
a
gunshot wounds.
No, it looked like a gunshot wound. That bitch is crazy.
Christ.
Those are fun girls, though. Yeah. They know how to have a good time.
Apparently. It reminds me of that girl from Power. She stabbed the gun in
the Vegas strip clubs don't have guns. Is this New York where you've seen this?
It saw it in New York and Miami. I saw it in Miami. I don't go to strip clubs much either.
Yeah.
I do appreciate a stripper with some scars though.
Yeah.
Some paddle wounds.
Yeah. It's like, she's seasoned.
I would like to buy her a drink.
Should have her on the podcast. Have her on the podcast. Have her stories. How did this happen?
Cricket's he wanted to do an episode with strippers one time, but not showing their faces, just to ask some good
stories. I bet they got stories. Yeah.
I mean, I want to get cocktail waitresses.
There's got to be a stripper that DJs.
You know,
that you can.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Man,
I might.
I would feel like that's like the next, like a no-brainer. You know?
Cricket teaches the next stripper DJ.
I mean, shit. Maybe in a couple years I'll do that shit.
Who taught you Cricket? Really? Couldn't put it past him.
I mean, I don't mind managing and molding.
Maybe that needs to be your next time you go out. Like, be like, have you ever thought about DJing?
Yeah. It's not over. Maybe we'll work on a project together.
The stripper tonics.
A whole crew, battle crew.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. You get a Philly one. I'll get a Vegas one. Start like a little crew.
Yeah.
Like the new Deck Star with stripper DJ.
Pole stars.
Wow. We gotta stop recording because we're giving
too many gems out here.
Someone's gonna take that idea.
Go copyright that name. Right.
Pole stars. Oh.
Yeah, that'd be kind of.
That's kind of ill.
As the set progresses, she's wearing less.
God damn it!
Is this a sexist conversation?
No, it's not. It's pretty funny. No? And then there's a point where she just push play, and then she goes and dances out, and then comes back to the decks.
Yeah,
you can incorporate it, or that could just be her story.
Have you been Oh my God, I got to talk about this. I was in LA at a boss. Oh, it was Buddy's birthday.
Presented by Red Bull.
At the Jane Fonda.
At the Fonda Theater.
The Fonda Theater. Fonda Theater. Jane Fonda Theater sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But it was Buddy's birthday. Boss was performing. There was a ton of other rappers performing. And I got there super early with Jamie.
Yeah.
And I was listening and watching these young DJs. It was so interesting.
Really?
It's pretty crazy.
It's Oh man, how do I explain this? So there's like this new dynamic where all the DJs at some point play a track, come to the front, and start dancing and sing along to the songs.
Yeah,
with the crowd.
It's kind of like the next step to the like standing on the table or something.
Yeah. But it was
even more interactive.
But it's a little bit of a cooler hip hop vibe to it.
Like a vibe, like bounce.
Yeah. So like, you know, like a DJ, and it was like every.
Where was this at again?
This was at the Fonda
Theater in LA and Hollywood Boulevard.
So like the first person I noticed doing that was Esco when he had a Thursday residency at Dre's.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, oh, DJ Esco has a residency, but he's hardly DJing. He's in the front, and he's like being a showman. Wow. And I'm like, okay. And I saw the show.
And then he had like a mascot guy with him.
He had a mascot. I saw the show.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
Kind of being his own hype man, kind of.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And because like, you know, he produced and he was Future's DJ.
Yeah.
It made sense that he would dance and like perform these songs a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's like if you're being brought to Vegas to DJ, you kind of have to have a little.
Yeah,
extra,
people want to see you, right? They're like,
it's a performance,
and it was at a time where Future was so
scorching,
huge. Yeah. He was just popping, yo.
Yeah.
And then so like for Esco to come out there and just like bounce to all of these Future songs was nuts. It was crazy. Like the energy was dope. I saw him like a year later, and by then he really perfected it.
Yeah.
And he had these like routines for like, yo, like now's the West Coast routine.
Yeah.
Let's drop Blow the Whistle.
Right.
Now's the Swag Surf routine. Let's do that. Let's do the Snap era. Let's do like the West Coast era shit. And it was like, I was like, wow, that's a really tight show. And I couldn't even hate on it or complain about it. And it didn't even matter to me that he wasn't DJing.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like a branding thing. And of course he could stand behind there. But it was like a good show.
Yeah.
You know, like. But yeah, I guess is it an Atlanta thing for real?
I mean, those are the first guys I saw doing it.
Yeah.
Shouts to Peanut.
All from that like group of like that strip club, City era.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's a thing, but yeah,
maybe.
I mean, that's
I feel like I don't get to see enough
but
DJs.
But it was interactive
Really?
with the crowd. Like they really were digging it.
It was and it would hype the crowd up. But obviously, if the guy coming to the front was kind of whack, like if he couldn't dance, and that's the thing is that I was like, that was the thing is that yo, you gotta know how to dance to do that shit, and I really like that energy, man. Like I don't know if I could ever do that or you could ever do that. But I thought it was so great that they were dancing, they were stylish, they had that young energy. Some of them even jumped into the crowd.
Yeah.
And they were hyping its stuff up.
I would never do that as a performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not like, that's definitely not my style. But back in the day, like we would definitely like play a song and then like dance with people. But it was a natural thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, this is me dancing for you. It was like,
that sounds like a Spank Rock kind of show.
Right. Yeah. And no, we would. And it would be like, yo, can you play some? Because I want to go. You know, maybe there's like a girl you want to talk to, or like you just want to throw bows in the crowd and get crunk with everyone. You know what I mean? And spray some beer and shit. You know, so it was like we wanted to be part of the part. Like, yo, this party's fun as shit we're throwing. Like, we want to be like participate too.
Yeah, it was funny that every young DJ that was, and they were all young ass DJs, probably like 21 and 22.
The kids too, they were young.
Yeah, and like it was, they were maybe younger. Maybe they were like 18, 19.
No, they were.
It
Like was an all-age show, I believe.
Yeah, it was all age show. Because those DJs had to be in like 18 or 20.
Yeah.
And it was funny to see that they all did that. They all went out front. They were all on the mic.
Yeah.
And it was more, and they all did this too. They all shut off the music and talked to the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, y'all? Like, you know, I just came out to show out. How y'all feeling? Are y'all good? Da-da-da. Yeah. And everyone's like, and they're like, all right, I'm going to play this next track.
So
and it was
funny,
like, and I was like, yo, this is really interesting.
Some Jam Master J shit.
The MC at the run I did Saturday.
But it was super laid back. It wasn't like
it was
in your face. Yeah. It was like, hey guys, what's up? And everyone's like, are y'all ready to turn up?
That's interesting.
I'm ready to turn up too. You know, I got my water here. You know, I'm feeling good tonight. Y'all feeling good though? It was like really laid back. And they were like, yeah. And then they dropped something and they would DJ for a little bit. And then they would come out front and be like, oh, this is the song, I'm going to come out front. And I just picture them like, you know, practicing it in the mirror.
It's just a new style.
But it was good. I was like, oh, I like this. And it's entertaining. And it really, I don't like it. It was showing me something that I think is going to evolve and change in the next.
We're phased out.
Yeah. In the next few years, you know what I mean? I think, but it's also, to me, these kids really trying to set themselves apart. from each other and really show some charisma.
Yeah, this was L.A.
Yeah, this was L.A.
It's funny because the MC who was hosting the party I did Saturday kept wanting me to stop and like have a speech. And I was like, "Didn't we just do this?"
It's like the national, like the Democratic debate.
What's a low B speech?
No, not me. He did. I was like the host. No, he was like, "Yo," he's like,
"Oh, he wants to."
He's like, "Stop it for a second. I'm gonna say something."
Yeah,
and then drop something. I was like, "Okay," and then like 5 minutes later, he did it, and I was like, "All right, I'm in a groove here." You know, I don't like that's not the same mentality for me.
What about dropping an instrumental for him next time?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I'm the furthest thing from that. Like, I know you guys I barely ever get on the mic. I'll do it to like, yeah.
I mean, pause. I'm on the mic a lot. Yeah, you know. But I also think it was the stage element that it was a show. So I think they wanted to go out front on stage.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would necessarily do that in a nightclub setting. But you never fucking know. I mean,
Nasco did it. So you never know. Shout out to Kid Business for the hospitality.
I love the confidence.
It was great.
Yeah,
and I love the balls to just like that, to do that. And it just shows the difference in who's becoming DJs, right? Because in the beginning of our generation, it was nerds.
Yeah, we want to play.
It was music.
We want to be involved, but we're not a rapper.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Well, you were, but.
Well, I mean, but I love it. But wasn't it also a lot of like dudes who became a DJ because they loved the music, but they also weren't the guy.
They didn't like the attention.
Well, no, I think
they wanted a little bit of attention, but not like super spotlight. You know?
I just don't think there were those charismatic, good-looking dudes who knew how to dress and got girls.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Yo, I know I can get girls.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm gonna DJ,
play
right?
Dope tunes. Yes,
this will make me cool."
But now the good-looking dudes and like the charismatic, like dudes and girls are like they're the DJs, and I thought it was interesting, like the dynamic changing. Like they have such a superstar quality.
Yeah,
I was having fun watching them, you know, and obviously the mixes were horrible. Like some of them were just offbeat, but it was just I don't know. I'm not belittling them. It was like really cute because I was like,
the effort was there.
I was like, you guys got something, and your skills are gonna develop later. But the energy you guys got and the charisma and
it's not something that can be taught, really.
Yeah. And it was
like we all learn stuff, you know. Like we kind of. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. We all have like a natural thing, that ear to know like this goes with this. There's definitely an X factor there. I don't mean to say it like that, but a lot of what we did was based on practice and knowledge, you know, where like their stuff is a more natural. Like,
but the process.
Are kids being raised like that now though, because of like the social media? I hate to say, it sounds like such an old, with social media and everything. It's like all these kids and their phones.
This internet thing's a big thing.
It's pretty popular. I hear the YouTube and the
Twitter.
What is that? A tweet they send? Yeah. So do you think like they're kind of just being groomed to be more exhibitionist kind of?
I think it's like it reminded me like when one of the DJs jumped into the crowd. And was wilding out to the crowd. I was like, this is really Travis Scott. It was, but you also look at like we talked about Travis Scott, where at times I've said he sometimes, and this may be not the whole show, but elements of his show, he's very much a hype man and not a performer. He's like a hype man for his own music.
Yeah.
So I think elements of that with DJing go hand in hand, right? And I think it's only natural that these kids want to show out like that. They want to be like, and then it's a mix of the EDM where the DJ's the focus on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone's watching the DJ, and you kind of have to be you have to do a show. You have to like motherfuckers are watching you DJ.
Yeah.
So you have to, and
I'm getting uncomfortable just thinking about it.
I would be like, damn, stop. Like, they're just staring at you the whole time. You're the opening.
You ever someone watch you DJ and you're like, why are you watching me DJ?
I talk to each other.
There's like, there's a few clubs where they have a spotlight on me, and I'm like, can you turn off the spotlight?
Yeah.
And I think one of them was like, no. And there was one club where they wouldn't let me put the laptop in the center.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, can I move the laptop? And I said, can I get a laptop?
Does it
can
hide
I
your
move?
face?
And they said, no, it doesn't look good with pictures.
Damn.
And I was like, The fuck?
I think I gotta have the laptop in front of me now because I have like these weird DJ injuries. Like I got like tendonitis from going right.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I got like pinched nerves in my neck from
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we got a whole. I don't know what 60 is gonna look like, man. I got like 3 things now.
There's a lot of 40-year-old DJs out there.
I know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just like I don't know. I know a few dudes that like they're
still holding it down.
They gotta take a few nights off though, you know, because like. It's physical, like standing for 5 hours gets like physically taxing after a certain age.
Well, a lot of my boys stopped drinking.
Yeah.
That's one of the.
I got to that early. You know what I mean?
Well, 7 years. It'll be 7. It was actually 7 years in August.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Congrats,
bro.
Yeah. That's always that's a definitive move to stop drinking.
Right. Well, yeah, because you can't. You know what I mean? Like I tried to do it, but it always leads to like wild shit, you know. And so, like you only get so many chances to be like, yo, my bad, can I get that gig back?
Wow, that's pretty.
So now it's only water bottles and Red Bulls for you.
Yeah, sugar-free Red Bull and water and club soda.
It's a different way of approaching the night though, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's really appreciated, but like I used to think it would be a detriment because you don't maybe like bro down as much with people, you know what I mean? Or like politic with like doing shots and shit like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and I've seen this happen to so many DJs drink themselves out of gigs, you know? And I think that like for me, it's definitely, obviously it's beneficial, but even like from a DJ standpoint, like, you know, you're just tend to be more professional in general, you know?
I feel like sometimes when I don't drink, I'm more on edge.
Yeah. Well, and that's like everything it takes some getting used to. So,
yeah.
You know.
So like when I'm completely sober and people are like requesting and a manager's coming to me, say this on the mic or do this.
I definitely got to chill with
if
that.
I'm sober, I actually might be like, everyone leave me the fuck alone.
Yo, that face you made right there.
Like, yeah.
I think like
Peter,
basically doing a low budget impersonation.
Really? But you when you were drunk?
No, when I'm not. No, that is like you're right. Like I am probably a little more tense about some things.
Yeah. When you're sober.
Yeah.
But if I have like, you know, a drink and I'm a little relaxed and everyone's yelling at me like, yo, do this, do that. I'm just kind of like, yo, like, fuck it. No, I'm just like, fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. You know, like, yeah, no problem.
You know what? I say that though, but I could still get like that when I would drink. Yeah, I would still be like, and that's I'd probably say some wild shit too. You know what I mean?
I guess it's like, your birthday today.
Yeah. I've said but even now I still kind of. I don't know. I think that's just your personality is your personality. I know what you're saying though. I can definitely probably come off as uptight sometimes when people request stuff and be like, "Did you just walk from the door to the booth and request something without even hearing what I'm playing?" You know what I mean? Like, and they'll be like, "Well, you're not supposed to do that." And I'll like feel bad. I'll be like yeah.
"You're okay."
But I think a lot of that too is just being older. Like. Seriously like 15 years older than some of these people, you know what I mean? Like and so like there's almost like a parental like or like it's just bad manners, you know, like or like you just asked me to play a song that has nothing to do with what everyone else is playing. Do you know how selfish that is? You know, like I start dropping these like little like things that make people be like, oh, it's probably not the best thing for a party environment, but making people question their integrity and everything.
I tend to take more requests nowadays, and
I'm cool. Overall, I'm cool with.
I think when I was younger, I was worse about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm just being funny, really. Like you know, there's some degree of that, but I'm probably way cooler than most DJs with requests because like I get put on this shit by people. Like they put me on the City Girls like 2 years ago. My crowd requesting that joint off the Quality Control album, you know, and then that put my radar up for City Girls. A lot of stuff they request, especially because they are younger, and I don't have time to keep up with all the new stuff. So, you know, I try and have everything, or sometimes like they'll request something and I'll be like, oh, I actually have it. I just never played it. It's just sitting in my laptop somewhere.
But like you downloaded it in March.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking like June.
Right. And so yeah, I'm totally open to requests.
You're open to requests if she looks cute.
That's true.
That helps, right? Definitely helps.
I have a question. Do you care what the person looks like?
Nah.
How about
you take a request?
okay, so I I get annoyed with straight dudes. I don't really see the need for it to honor a straight dude's request.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm cool as long
unless
as
he's spending a lot of money or something. Yeah. Oh, you don't do bottle service,
right. So that's usually not the case.
If the person's cool, they're not rude about it. They're like, yo, could you please play this? If they feel entitled, I might feel away.
Yeah,
I still might do it anyway, but I try to be cool and understand that they're in a club environment. They're the ones spending money. So let me kind of like be respectful to them and just kind of like listen to what they have to say.
I feel like if the girl looks like, if girls are requesting shit and they look like the type of girl where a lot of dudes sweat her,
you're more likely to not play it. I'm
more likely not to play
Me too.
her song.
Because you know what? You got to learn that you can't get everything you
can't
want
get everything you want. Yeah. Like, yo,
no one's told you yet.
Looks on everything. Yo. Right. Like, yo, I'm not the dude. Like, I'm not impressed.
Especially when they do the eyes and like they're running
might
the game.
Rub your back or something.
Right, yeah, the back rub.
I hate with the nails scratching your back.
Like,
I tell you, I always do this twitch, and they always get freaked out when they touch my back. I go like, what the fuck was that? And I do it on purpose, and they're always like, whoa, like, I'm sorry.
The nails are too sharp. I told you not to do them that sharp.
No. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm just always like, you know.
Yeah, no, I feel that too. And then, I don't know, but
like that's what if a girl like asks for a song and like kind of like on the way out just smacks you in the butt, like.
Yeah, that one's fun.
It's like a little encouragement, like, come on, you got it, buddy.
Good job,
like a sports player.
I'd appreciate that more if a dude did that. Like, yo, good job, good. Thanks a lot,
keep your head in the game, bud.
Like, good looking, man. I appreciate it.
Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to think.
You're going to get mad dudes smacking you in the butt now.
Man.
You just started a trend, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if a dude is, what kind of a dude request? I don't like the dude that's requesting a song if he's not doing anything and he's like alone.
Right.
And it's just like, yo, like, this
you don't have a drink in your hand. You're not dancing. You're like just kind of looking mopey because they're not playing your shit.
You have nothing to do. You have nothing. Well, I think it's more that they have nothing to do and they're trying to be cool or seem cool and be like, I'm going to request a song and like, you know.
Yeah, I just always like, I never really, that's just like the last energy I try and cater to.
We have to get like a psychologist here to really analyze.
I have a BA in psychology.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a psychologist.
Can we break down the mentality of someone who feels entitled to request something?
I break it down for him.
Yeah,
as I just say. No.
If you had to, I
don't really have like full on conversations, but I do kind of like.
But let's be judgmental for a second, because we're not judgmental people, of course.
Right. Yeah.
But let's put these people in a nutshell, right? What is the type of person that is requesting something?
Okay.
Insecure, uncomfortable.
I don't know if
what
it's
is
insecure.
Entitled.
Yeah. So I've requested songs. I will admit that. Like when I was younger, you know, and they were totally inappropriate for what was going on. I'd go and request fucking Mos Def when they're playing Bad Boy. You know what I mean? Like and I would do it to be like, you ain't up on this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm real hip hop. You're not. I hate that guy now. You know what I mean? Right. Just like at the time, and my younger self would probably hate me, you know, but
that's kind of an insecurity to prove that you're.
I guess so. I should have done the research and known where they were going to be playing the shit that I.
But you don't know any better. You're young.
You're right. Or your friends bring you out somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
I mean, I respect the guy that goes and like, yo, like I'm trying to talk to this chick. Can you throw on something like, you know what I mean? I respect from someone to come at me real like that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
but usually I'm kind of like
Chris Brown.
But see, I'm already there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I said, I kind of cater to that energy.
Yeah.
So that's usually not an issue. If it's time to like dance to some R&B or like
that's kind of a warning though, isn't it? It's like you're not really feeding into what the girls want to dance to.
Right. No, because I've definitely been in situations where like I was trying to dance with a girl and the DJ's playing like MOP. Yeah. You know? And it's like
you're like, excuse me, bitch. Where the fellas at? Where's my homies at? Oh shit!
Throw her up in the air.
Tito! Like slam chests against each other. Yeah. I want to talk about these requests nowadays though.
Yeah, requests are a great topic. Yeah.
Have you noticed the difference in how motherfuckers request shit?
Do you take requests?
In the approach?
Yeah.
In the approach of how they do it?
Do you take requests? I get it that
that's usually the number one question.
Do you feel people are getting
the message?
More courteous?
Yeah.
You think they're getting more courteous?
They're seeing the memes. They're seeing the DJ rants. They have more friends. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely, but for me, like that doesn't even matter because I'm trying to limit the exchange to as small time as possible.
So you're not mad at the phone?
I'm not mad at the phone. That is the most efficient way to tell me what you want to hear. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like you just boom and it's there. We don't even have to exchange
I think
words.
the phone is more rude than someone asking for the request.
It looks rude. It comes off as rude. It's bad optics for sure. It
like
looks,
a bright ass phone in a dark ass club.
Right. But if you remove yourself from that like bad visual, like it's effective. And I think the reason I feel this way maybe is because the first time I had that happen to me was in Europe, like a long time ago. Putting some shit up on a language I don't even understand, but I was like, "That's so civilized." Like, you know,
really?
Yeah. I was like, "That's so like smart to just put it on your phone that way," because you can't hear in a club. You know?
You just know what they want.
Like you're just writing the words. Now this was before smartphone, so it was probably like a razor or some shit that just had like nice regular gray and black text that wasn't as obnoxious. You know. But when I was like, that's a great idea. You know, that was the first time I heard it. Now maybe if the first time it happened was like some drunk girl in a bottle service club, then I would be like, that's stupid. But you know, Europeans are more sophisticated.
I feel like that bothers me more when they put a phone in my face.
A lot of DJs hate it. And I'll jump back to it and I'll make a face at them, but then I'll be like, all right. And then you just go like, oh, you know.
I think they got to come up like, they got to give me the 1 second.
Okay.
And
that's a good compromise.
And I'll be like, yeah, let me see. But when they're just putting the phone in my face, I'm going to ignore that shit for a good while.
Recently I get can I request a song? Is it? I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah,
it depends.
I always just say, I say, what do you want to hear?
Yeah, what you got in mind?
I say, what is it? Because I don't even like. I want to get to the next mix.
Right.
Like
you're interrupting. That's the thing.
You're interrupting me, and they're like, "Can excuse me?" And I'm like, "What do you want to hear?" And then they're like, Can I request?" I'm just, what is the song?
You see, I'm
usually like that.
I'm not that angry.
I can be like that too.
I'm not angry. I'm just like, give it to me right now because I'm in the middle of some shit.
And I think that's the thing. Like the most annoying thing about requests isn't really the request. It's that you're trying to talk to me while I'm working, and like no matter how you do it, like I'm going to probably be a little annoyed because I just prefer no one talk to me.
I'm not even annoyed. I'm just like, give me the information, and I got you. Yeah. And usually I'll be like, I'll give them thumbs up, like I got you.
Yeah.
But I just want the song. Like I don't want,
Yeah, they're in the mix too. I'll be like,
what about the when you gonna play it?
I don't mind that. I'm like, I'm gonna play it. Oh, if I'm playing it and they're requesting it,
can you play it next?
If it's in the same BPM, I'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah, why not?
What if it's not?
If it's not, I'll try to figure it out.
What they're asking you to play it next?
How big is the tip?
It's like, I would just be like, I don't even worry about that. I'd be like, if I get to it, I get to it at that point. Yeah.
So you don't have these extended conversations.
No. You just hate. What do you want to hear?
That's I'm like, depending on my mood, I'm like that too. But lately, I've just been like, they're like, when are you gonna play? And I'm just like, when the time's right. And it just
I can't believe people are still saying, I'm leaving in 15 minutes. Can you play it now?
Yeah, that's so. I don't get that too much.
That's not a motivation.
And I gotta say, like in general, I don't really get a lot of requests, and when I do, like they're not that bad. Like I kind of think DJs complain about requests is such a little bratty thing in the most part. But I like to talk about it the way we are, like the psychology behind it is fun. But like when you go on Facebook and DJs are just bitching about like this girl, like come on, man.
Well, because in a way, it's like it's compromising our intelligence. By saying, you're kind of saying, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to go ask you so I can tell you what to do.
I used that one. I was like, I know what I'm playing for the rest of the night. Because like they started to request when there was only like 15, 20 minutes left. And, I was in like a good house groove. I've been really liking playing house lately. Just like the commercial crossover stuff, like the Calvin Harris and shit like that. It's just like when that shit goes off, it looks like what I think a good dance floor should look like. It's not as like exhibitionist with like hip hop where like there's not like as much rap, snapping and twerking and all that. That sounded really old the way I said that, but so I was playing that and I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of the night. Dude wanted to hear some hip hop and I was like, nah, I'm just like, I know exactly where I'm going now. He was like, all right.
You can also just tell him like, the last 3 hours were for you.
The
last 15's for me.
That's when that's when requests annoy me too. Yeah. When like you've intentionally switched it up because you've been doing something for so long, and within 5 minutes someone and you know they're going to request hip hop. You know what I mean? Because you stopped playing hip hop.
That's an interesting thing that kind of I get confused about. Like if we were on this journey together, I was DJing, you were dancing for the last hour and a half or 2 hours. You don't get it that I'm eye to eye with you guys.
Right.
You know, you don't get it that like we're in the same boat, and like you don't trust me enough at that point after this 2 hours or an hour and a half of music to just be like, let him right
live. Or you can't bear for 10 minutes to not hear your shit. That's what annoys me about it.
But I'm trying to think from a perspective of a guy. If I was in the crowd trying to talk to a girl, let's say we're dancing, and then all of a sudden some weird shit popped on. We're like, you fucked this whole shit up. I'm gonna go to the DJ booth. You know what I mean? And the girl's like, why is he playing this?
Yeah. But that's when you like leave.
I mean, you guys told me about the request. I haven't been too mad about it.
I don't get mad either. I just think it's funny to talk about. Sometimes they just crack me up, man. Like I remember when Despacito was big. This girl came in. It was like 5 after 10, right after it opened. She hit me with like the triple. She was like, "It's my birthday. We're leaving soon. Can you play Despacito?"
It's my favorite song.
And it was 10:05. No one else was there, and I was like, you know what? Sure. It was like you just nailed all the angles. Like I'm so impressed with how you did like every annoying thing in one request. But really, like if it's 10:05 and you're the only one there, who cares?
What if they come back like 5 minutes later because you didn't play
that happened when In My Feelings was out, when it first came out, and this girl was bugging me to play it, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it, man. It's a little early for that. It's a big song right now. And she did the thing where she sends her friend up to make it look like it's another request. That's another one. I'm like, you're not getting me with that one, man. Come on. I'm watching everyone in this room, you know? And I was like, tell your friend we're going to get to it. And then I was like, and even though I was like trying to stand my ground, like I was like, man, I might as well like try and work it in maybe a little earlier than normal. So I did. And she seriously came up within 5 minutes and asked for it again. And I was like, I just played it. And I was like, that's childish. She was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. I mean, come on. That's like when you're a little kid and you keep rewinding a song like 10 times. You know, like that's. Like,
she didn't get it?
No, she was really like bugged out by it. I was surprised, man, because she didn't really look like that type of girl. Like she looked like, I don't know, like that type of girl. Like she didn't look like a brat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she was just, I was weird, man.
The level of judgment that we place for what a person looks like and what they're requesting, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, isn't that good DJing? Like a big part of it is kind of being able to read people, you know, like and make like assumptions that that aren't always correct, but like usually are. You know,
the body language read.
Yeah.
I love it when like a group of girls are there and the one girl requests a song. And then she goes back to her crew, and the song doesn't play maybe for 2 songs.
Yeah.
And then there's like the one girl that's like, "Let me do it."
Oh,
you know, like she's gonna save. Like
I got this.
I'm gonna convince him.
I got it. Oh, did you ever get the one? Did you ever get the ones? This could be a guy or a girl where they're putting in their like marketing business degree techniques that they learned, or you know, like
damn, that's very
oh man, I'm trying to think of an example. You're just like, you're a good DJ, man. You know, what do you think we get on a blah blah blah? You play this for me, and then they'll be like, you know, they'll be using these techniques that I know they learned in class of like how to like hobnob with people, and
I loved your set. Your
set,
right.
They
you're
set
killing
you up
it right now.
Yeah. I was wondering if you can get a chance. We got a few people over here. You know? And it's like, they would love it if you could play blah blah blah. Yeah.
I've gotten that a few times.
I've gotten finessed like that a few times.
Yeah. They set you up with the. You're doing an amazing job.
And I used to say, "Oh, thank you," and I turn around.
Did you ever do it like when you're not in a good mood and someone comes up, you're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And you're like, "I just want to say you're killing it right now." And you're like, "Oh, thanks, man." You ever get that? Yeah. That just happened to me the other night, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what's up, man. Thank you."
And they didn't ask for anything?
Nah,
that's great.
They just shouted out. Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, I get. That's the thing, man. For every like annoying request, I feel like I have a positive experience too. You know, I play for cool people, man. I can't complain.
Yeah. I mean, fuck. I mean, well, I guess in the end of it all,
Damn, we're just playing songs, getting paid to do it, man.
I mean,
you know, like that's what I always crack up when I see people getting really mad or like over analytical and just salty about DJing. I'm like, yo, it's DJing, man. Like, this isn't like we're not figuring a cure for cancer. You know,
it just gets really serious because when you're making a living off of this shit and you're really depending on that shit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing though. Is like, I've never been afraid to like just get another job if I had to. You know. And I think that's the fear that people don't want to do. They don't want to get a job.
The 9 to 5.
Yeah. Which I understand, man. I understand. And DJing is like good money. So even bad DJ money is good money compared to a regular job.
I mean, that's true. I mean, that's why everyone's becoming a DJ.
Right.
And I'm wondering if everyone, if the playlist generation, if motherfuckers just making playlists, is feeding into their head of like, oh, I could actually DJ. And the passing of the aux chords and all of this stuff, right?
I feel like everyone's comes like. I feel like that's what made us do it, though, right?
A little bit, yeah. With
me, I was just such an obsessive collector of music. You know, I had like all these tapes. I had like the Columbia House. You know, the 10 CDs for a penny. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
That was the biggest scam ever.
I never paid anything.
Yeah, me neither.
No. But I had like 4 different ones under fake names, and I just had like all these tapes and CDs.
Yeah,
and I remember that shit. I would just collect hip hop.
Oh, so you wouldn't pay for shit?
No,
I never bought anything.
Yeah, we used to get CDs for free.
I don't know how that worked. I don't know anyone that did.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, was I the only asshole that paid for something?
Yeah.
Oh, you really bought the $7.99? You were like, you need to buy 7 within the next 3 years.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, let me try this, and I was like, wait, this is expensive. I'm paying $24 for a CD.
Yeah, For one, I was like 14. What are you gonna do? Like, go into my bank account? Like, what do you like?
I was a little older when I did the Columbia.
Yeah. I was young.
But I would I had this crazy hip hop collection, and I would like write all the tracks in a notebook, and I would bring it to school, and I would let dudes pick out like $1 a song, and I'd make like a compilation.
Holy shit!
I did that too, but I didn't charge anybody.
Yeah, I was kind of honored if you just like listened to me, but no, like some people would do it, and then like. I had like the book, and I had like all the logos. I had like EPMD logo, Wu-Tang logo, and someone stole the book. Wow. And I was like, why would you just steal a book with songs written in it? But I don't know what that was. But
that must have looked fly then.
Yeah, it did. It was like, you know, you're like a teenager. You just may have time to just like write stupid shit on a book. But so that made me be like, all right, I need to like do something with this. And so it took me a while. I bought like a turntable that didn't have pitch adjustment, you know, for like $75, and then a tape deck. And I would be like, how do they mix? Because there was no speed adjustment. I could hear what was wrong, but I would just kind of like cut over a tape.
Yeah.
And then I finally found one that had the pitch. I was like, that's how they do it. They mix it. No internet, man, you know?
It was a dope
That's where low budget comes from, you know? It's just like everything was just like a dumb...
Is that where the name came from?
Yeah.
Wait, where did Hollertronix come from?
Oh, because it was when like everyone was like saying holler. Like when Fabulous holler back, like Jay-Z, holla, you know, DJ Clue, like, was, you know? And so I was just like the saying. And so we were kind of like trying to think of a name, and we were like, all right, so we're playing like a lot of like Miami bass and electro, so it should be like Tronics. And we were just like, Hollertronix, just like the hip hop. Yeah. It worked. But then we'd be like, do you think this, like when people would book us, I'd be like, do you think they're going to want to hear more holler or more Tronics? And that would be like, is it going to be a hip hop crowd or like a hipster crowd? You know, like what's it like? Because people were booking us back then, but I don't know if they even knew what they wanted us to do. It was just like a hot name, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Yeah. What do you call it? Is there anything else we want to touch on right now? Pause. Wait. You have a podcast, right?
Yeah. R.O.A.D.
R.O.A.D?
Yeah.
Awesomely Righteous Dudes?
Yeah. Well, that's just an acronym we made for it, but it's really just R.O.A.D.
R.O.A.D podcast?
Awesomely Righteous Dudes.
Is it 2 white guys?
It's got to be all white guys. Right?
Yeah. No, Joe's not. Joe. Oh, I don't know. What is Palestinian? Is that white?
Palestinian?
Yeah.
He's minority.
Yes, minority.
Yeah.
I like it.
We just needed to figure something out to put. We just wanted to call it R.O.A.D. because that's like if you're texting someone.
Yeah.
Like Philly, like if you instead of like all right, like you know how New York would be like all right.
Yeah.
In Philly, it's R.O.A.D.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like R.O.A.D.
Yo, meet me over here. R.O.A.D. You look mad.
This is the first time I've ever heard of this.
I'm not feeling that.
You know, like art.
I can hear it though.
Like I said, Philly pronounces their R's, man. We're different. Art.
I can hear it. Yeah. Like, let's meet up to eat art.
So it's you and Dirty South Joe.
Yeah.
Dope.
And we just got Jaber is going to be producing it. He worked with Cosmo at Scratch Academy, the Philly version. So so he's going to start working on it. We're figuring some shit out now. We're like in a regrouping phase. Yeah.
Regrouping?
Yeah.
You guys are hiatus.
Hiatus is a good word.
That's a good word.
There's a lot of podcasts coming out.
Yeah.
A lot of DJ podcasts.
The good thing with it though is like they don't come on at a certain time, so there's no competition really. You know what I mean? Like
it's not like radio.
Huh?
It's not like a radio show at a certain time.
Like I like baseball. I subscribe to like 4 Phillies podcasts, and I get hype when every one of them drops. You know what I mean? If you want a certain type of content, you're gonna keep going.
I do the same thing for baseball podcasts. It's cool.
But
what do you call it? With the podcast, with the DJ podcast, there's so many coming out.
Is there really? See, I feel like when we started it, obviously there's you guys, and maybe like 2 or 3 other ones, but a lot of them are mixes, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of them started out as mixes, and a lot of them started. I just don't like it when it's like kind of like instructional or like they're trying to like drop knowledge, like forcefully drop knowledge.
Yeah,
I just think it should be like kind of a representation of like what you and your homies in that city talk about.
Right.
I really like that.
With ours, we kind of like me and Joe both worked at the record store, so we have this kind of. So our take is kind of like the record nerd. It's like, maybe like we're gonna like tell you if you need a joint or if something's trash.
A little barbershop talk.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then just bringing on our friends.
Yeah, I think that's what it should be. It should be like just kind of like an open window to like you and your boys or whoever the fuck is in it and represent the city it's in, because that's really, I think, the most interesting part of any podcast.
Right.
And like where can they find it at? Because I'm trying to find it and I couldn't find it.
Maybe we need to make it easier to find. It should be. It's on iTunes and all that shit. Spotify.
Oh, is it? I just searched R.O.A.D podcast and nothing came up.
Maybe we should name it something different.
Awesome.
I like
Crooked doesn't like it.
It's like A.R.D.
Yeah, but maybe just R.O.A.D, right? Like skip the acronym shit.
So you gotta put awesomely righteous dudes.
Yeah. See, maybe that's too much. Maybe we just do R.O.A.D.
Yeah.
R.O.A.D DJ talk. Simplify it.
R.O.A.D podcast. Yeah. You're good.
I don't know.
15 episodes in.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, we got so many like DJs locally that we can just holler at. You know, that like have good stories. You know, we haven't even like cracked the surface with it, but
that's great.
I mean, I'm not feeling hard though.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
How do you go from Hollertronix, which is like pretty awesome fucking name,
epic,
to R.O.A.D?
It's the evolution, man. It's like getting older. Like at first you're super hype, and then you're just like, all right. Is it a good podcast? It's hard.
It's hard.
You should check it out. It's hard.
You listen to the R.O.A.D podcast?
R.O.A.D, but it's more like I don't know. Maybe it's a Philly thing, man. You just don't get it, man.
I just don't get it. Don't make me boo you right now.
Boo.
That's what the podcast is. Bunch of Philly dudes booing shit. Hey, you feeling this? Boo.
Definitely. It's a boo section. It's just us criticizing everything.
Oh, I would listen to that.
Yeah, just talking shit. Nah, I try and make it a little positive, but I'm just realistic. Like, just like I'm not gonna need this for the club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe it might work, but I can't believe some shit's not working. That is whatever.
We're glad that you're on the West Coast. It's been a few years.
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah. It's great. It's great to be here. Every time I come out, I like it.
Yeah. Come out to the West a little bit more.
I will.
Definitely.
I will.
And start seeing you out here. Lo, thank you for coming through,
man. Thank you guys so much, man.
Appreciate it so much, brother.
Yeah, man.
And you got some advertisement shit that you want to get to.
YouTube.com/R.O.A.D podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to get every video on Friday. And
shout out to DJ City, man. And we out.
Peace.